Okay, hi there boys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Primes177 Gaming, and here we are with TipTop EU Open Scrims again. Lobby A, got some great teams in the lobby this evening, so I'm sure we'll get some exciting matches. We're just going in to match number 1 fairly soon. We'll be on Erangel. And I'd like to introduce my co-caster for this evening, the inimitable voice talent, has to be because he's pretty ugly in real life, of Jammy Gaming. How you doing, Jammy?
At least I've got something going for me. I'll take that.
You'll take that one,
I know my place. Anyway, welcome in everyone. Thanks, Vimes.
Yeah, no worries. How you doing, buddy?
I am very well. And I'm not sure if you've been in games since the latest update, where the weapon that you hold on your profile screen, you take into the spawn island with you.
Okie dokie. Well, that explains all the shooting and the ridiculous noise in my ear. So, yeah, thank you for that, guys.
Yeah, that's another one of 10 cents.
Genius ideas.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been happier to hear the plane.
Now, my view is stuck on the loading screen at the moment, which is nice.
No,
so I will be watching yours solely at the moment.
Okay, so there we are on our plane, and let's have a look at our flight line, Jammy. Quite interesting. So we're going, starting off down at Novo. So crate's certainly in range, as will be Milk Power and the mill base, and heading over School Wellshock towards shooting range. So Zaki in range at the end of the flight line. Quite an interesting one, Jammy. Pretty central.
It is pretty central, and it follows the direction of the main drop locations. I mean, places like Primorsk and Kameshki will be out of drop reach, but I'm sure they'll rotate with vehicles. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see Millie Base and Georgia Pole being quite hot.
Yeah, well, we've certainly got at least one team's headed in to Novo Crates by the look of it, and we've got at least one, maybe two, heading towards Mill Base. And we do have quite a few teams seem to have exited at the same time.
What I'm wondering is, are they all just going to spread out in different directions, or have they all decided they're all going to jump down to Rozhok, down to school and the like? Are we going to see congestion in Pachinki maybe, or are they going to be sensible and head off to their individual loot locations?
Well, we're here with squad number 22. That's Revenge. They've certainly got a couple of teams around them. And yep, they can see a squad down to their left. That is squad number 11. Who's that? New team, actually. I don't think we've had featured these guys before. Kukuri? KK?
No, it's not one that I recognise from our previous TipTop scrims or any of the other stuff that we've done.
We've got Train to Kill not too far from the action here as well. So we're going to get... well, potentially a little bit of action here at Yasnaya early game, Jammy.
That is good to hear.
So
I'm waiting for my game to load still, so as soon as that happens, I'll enter match again. Yes.
T2K are across the road, and we've got these guys literally, they picked a small section of the compound together, getting their initial loot together, and I imagine we're going to start seeing some fireworks pretty soon, boys and girls.
Yeah, one thing we see with these guys in TipTop is they are very tactical. They do play a really, strategic game, but equally, none of them will shy away from a gunfight.
Sometimes we've noticed in the past that the first game can be a little cagey, people just finding their way. But we'll see. 4 teams around here. I imagine somebody's going to start shooting soon.
Yeah, often the second Erangel match is much more aggressive, isn't it, than the first. The first one, maybe because of the way the lobbies go, the lobby A, lobby B, and the rest, maybe they just feeling each other out. Oh, yeah.
Friend here. Our friend here may well be a little bit exposed. We seem to be getting away with it at the moment. Not for long.
No, in trying to avoid one of the teams, he's completely exposed himself to the other team. So, yeah,
there is a knock established. Great work with the DP28 there. Teammates, I think, some of his teammates have managed to get some smoke on him to try and give him some cover, but it's not been particularly effective. And there's our first kill. Obviously didn't land on a gun, found himself too far out in the open, and unfortunately that is back to the lobby pretty early for one of the guys from squad number 22, RG.
It is, and we could see what he was trying to achieve. He obviously knew where one squad was, but he didn't know where the other. He didn't know the other squad was exactly there, and they had such a good view of him snaking along the side of the concrete there.
So let's have a look. So the guys from squad number 22 are, I mean, obviously everybody's in their looting phase at the moment, but they're a little bit isolated from each other. So we're going to have a look at the guys from KK here. They may well, I mean, they're going to know now that the team that was the closest to them is going to be a player down. And certainly the guys from RG now looking to increase distance a little bit away from these guys from squad number 11.
Yeah, so that just alerted everyone, really, didn't it, as to where the teams are now. So the player that was taken out from Team 22, he would have told his teammates where Team 6 were. And then the firing alerted everyone to where Team 11 were.
Okay, there's our first zone, but I think we're getting a little bit of action over here by the bridge, and two of our friend's teammates from Cyber Esports have been taken out. He's a sole survivor. Looks like these guys might have gone in as a 3, Jammy.
Yeah, so Team 23, I'm just looking on my map to see where they are. Oh, I see, yes. I was looking at a completely different area of the map, because now I've just managed to get into game. Now, it did let me back in. I had to restart, and it let me back in. Yeah, interesting. We've got congestion that we've just been watching over at Yasnaya. Now, we've also got a bit of congestion over Georgia Pole, and we see, as you say, that player, one of a 3, is the last remaining player of his team.
We've also got a couple of teams down in Millbase, but at the moment, my game isn't responding. At the moment, they don't seem to be pushing on each other. Right, what's going on here? Okay,
now we've got Team 16, which is Zone Brother, and we've also got Team 17 together, 17th Century Esports. They're in Millbase together, exactly as you said. There we go. So we're back. So they're just having a bit of a standoff at the moment, I think. I'm just looking now. Yeah, so both teams have still got all 4 players remaining. Now, I like the way, if you look at Zone Brother there, Team 16, if you can see their spread.
Yeah. They've
got 2 players to the north with high ground, and they've got 2 players to the south as well.
So they do have an overview here, and oh, there we go. There's a quick peek, and yeah, establishes the knock with some great M4 burst play there. Good work. That's exactly what he was waiting for.
Yeah, that was pretty ruthless.
Nice bit of spray control there. So as you said, the guys on the elevated positions, high ground, earning their money today.
And that building is so open to get to that if they've got smoke, they're going to have to use it, because otherwise they're not going to be able to get to their teammates safely. That's a good one to knock. So they've anchored that team where they are now.
Yep. And are they managing to get to their buddy? Nope. He's out.
Not.
So unfortunately, another early casualty for our friends down on Millbase. Now, we've got a couple of teams that seem to be, again, sort of keeping their distance from each other up at North George, as you were saying. We've still got these guys dancing around each other at Yasnaya. So, yeah, a little bit cagey in the early stages of game number 1, Jemmy.
It is. And as we, as the zone starts to push in, are we going to see fighting out the zone? I mean, it's not a hard zone compared to the flight line, but it is a very eastern zone. So all those teams that jumped late or even towards the middle, they're the ones that are going to have to rotate in. They're going to have to plan their rotation as well, because they will know there are lots of teams around them. So that western edge, I'm guessing probably the Rozhok area might get quite busy.
Yep.
We're going to have teams rotating in. We've got 3 teams, well, actually 2 teams now on the Millie Island, because Rogue are actually, is it? Yes, Rogue Gods Gaming have rotated already away from Novo Crates.
Well, we're just going to have a quick look up to the north now. Here with F5. They've taken a bit of damage, but so far they're managing to get their players up.
Yeah, these guys were actually rotating past
and
the 4AB team.
That's another knock established by 4 Angry Birds. Thankfully he's got some cover here with the tree, but they're certainly under some pressure here.
Yeah, the 4 Angry Birds currently on foot. These guys, as I say, were rotating past and got taken down. They do have Falcon that's coming up from the west and around the north of the 4 Angry Birds. Can he provide enough
And
support?
Genius, I think, just got a very, very slight peek of one of those players there on the roof. And our friends here with nothing but these trees for cover under increasing amounts of pressure, and it looks like some flanking fires coming in now.
It certainly is, and they've got F5 have got Falcon to the northwest, getting some shots onto one of the 4 Angry Birds players.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure he can put enough support in.
And Falcon with the great tap fire through the smoke there, doing the business.
Oh, okay, that was odd because we've got a Falcon on both teams.
And just as effective with the spray as well, so Falcon's making his presence known. And yep, 4 Angry Birds certainly putting their opponents under a lot of pressure here, Jamie. Some good work from these guys. These birds, actually. But
yeah, all the players to the east have been taken down now. So it's just F5 Falcon, who's just to the northwest, and he's actually retreating now. I think he's got a vehicle, so I'm going to assume, yeah. So Falcon from F5 is now in the buggy and retreating and getting out there. No point trying to fight a very aggressive squad and the blue zone.
So it looks like our situation up in Yasnaya has resolved itself somewhat. Two teams have rotated away from each other. Got a little bit of action. We're going to get a little bit congested at this northern end of bridge. Looks like Raw potentially looking at a bridge camp situation. They know they've got people on Millbase Island, so they know that they're potentially going to have people rotating on this particular bridge.
They are. Now, they actually were at the northern edge of the bridge when the team from Novo, and apologies, I didn't see who it was that was actually over at Novo Crates, but Raw actually took them out at that northern edge of the bridge.
We are here with Raw now. Team of 12. Ruthless, aggressive warriors. Well, that pretty much sums it up, doesn't it?
Well, with 4 kills already at this early stage,
Yep.
yeah, that's pretty accurate, I'd say.
You can't get them on trade descriptions for that, can you? And these guys having a look at a plane coming over as well, by the look of it. Whether they're going to chase that down, we'll take a look. Looks like they're just establishing their
no, we've got Team ZB, the Zone Brothers. Is it Zone Brothers? Yes, Zone Brothers. Team 16 rotating across the western bridge, just at the same time as the CRB team, Team 18, Chunribu. Just at the same time as they were rotating past, and so we've got a bit of action at the northern edge of the western mini-base bridge. It's just unfortunate timing from them, I think.
We've got a lot of people driving around at this, and it's getting very congested around the farm Milter area, Jamie.
It really is, yeah. So Raw have gone north. They've left the bridge. There is still one team on Millie Base. But yeah, we've got knocks going in all over the place in centre zone. They're trying to establish a position. It's in the shelter area, so you do have the entrances to shelter and shelter itself.
But plenty of fire coming in. Lots of people all doing the same thing, rotating multiple vehicles. And our friend here is coming under increasing pressure. Just thinking about getting out. I think he's still going to be vulnerable there. Team number 7 just off to his right flank.
I'm not sure what's going on. I've lost vision. I can still hear you. That's odd.
And okay, let's check
Yeah.
our friends here. And we're here with squad number 13. That's Senior Esports, who we have covered before. I think we covered at least 1 week where they got about 2 wins, I think.
I think that was that when we did Lobby B last week.
It may well have been, actually. Yeah, it was good set of games, that, as I recall.
It was very good. It was really good to see some new teams. And we were commenting before the game started, actually, that some of these teams are new to us. So I think maybe they've come through the Lobby B, Lobby A.
Yep.
And done it that way. But, yeah, I've lost visual on Discord.
We've got a lot of people. We have got a lot of people now coming into the zone, all rotating in. We've got a lot of people coming from the west as well, all rotating in.
They are. We've got absolute, convoys of people coming in from the west. South of Pachinki, we've got the B4V guys and Ice Cream there. They're rotating in. They're still deep in the blue, some of their players. The 4 Angry Birds are rotating in from south of shooting range. They're coming in along the northern side through the blue. Of course, we saw that fight. Thank you. There we go. That's better. I don't know what happened. It just completely dropped out. But yeah, so fights in the middle. We've got Team 20 there as well. Simply Business, the Alpha team. They've got a player knocked.
So we've got people establishing positions in our centre zone area, and it's going to get very, very busy here. We're here with our friends in the compound. They're pretty much surrounded, it has to be said.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is trying to establish that centre zone position. We see that as a hallmark of these TipTop scrims, actually. A lot of teams do that. They don't skirt around the edge, most of these. They do actually like that centre zone.
We've got another rotation coming in from squad number 16. 7 still holding their ground so far. And doing well keeping their vehicles covered here.
Yeah, that's good tactic. I mean, they are edge of zone now. The zone's going further east. So there's not many teams actually in zone. We've seen that's quite a hard shift down southeast. So centering the area between sort of Milter Village and Milter Power there. You do have some quite good cover in those buildings in that zone.
So these guys now looking to rotate. They've got squad number 7 also just rotated past them. Looks like these guys might be looking to confirm the kill on Samurai there.
Yeah, they've managed to get a position that's not that close to other teams at the moment, actually.
And I mean, look at this. This is very interesting, Jamie, because we've got teams very, very close to each other, but you've got almost the entirety of the eastern part of this circle. Nobody's rotated and kept the coast to their rear.
No, I'm looking actually now. I was just looking at that exact point because I'm Team 12, who we saw on the northern edge of the bridge, Raw. They've gone to the southern peninsula. But like I say, no one's gone to Mini Milter. No one's gone to any of those areas. No one's gone to Milter Power. I thought we might have seen a team taking a quick rotation either through or round zone. Just head over there. In fact, the guys from Team 25, I think, have actually done that. They've headed to one of the compounds just north of very centre zone. But like you say, there's no one on the eastern side.
No one on this eastern side at all. And you'd have thought coming across there, you'd want to rotate with the coast at your back. But, well, we'll see.
But one reason might be we've got a huge congestion over at Milter Village at the moment. We've got at least 3 teams rotating through in vehicles. They're all being held up by each other. I think maybe they are trying to do that quick rotation.
So pretty much everybody's mobile now. We've spent quite a lot of this middle game driving around, haven't we?
Exactly. Yeah, certainly have. Now the Team 22, that's Revenge. They've actually gone over to Milter Power, so they're the first ones that have headed over there.
Over here are our friends from squad number 24. That's Prodigy, D1. And looks like they're getting into it with Vixard, who we know are very good gunfighters. Blows the car there. Beautiful work with the Tapfire M16.
Indeed, we've seen Vixard. In fact, Vixard just have one of their team taken out and confirmed. We've seen them as some very, very good gunfighters and taken wins in previous weeks.
So our friends here just finding themselves slightly out of zone. Going to rotate along the coast. Certainly coming under some fire, but they want to try and get across here as fast as possible to join their teammates. Yeah,
it's a risky move. It might pay off.
And unfortunately, one of them has been knocked. I think that was from squad number 12 on the high ground over there, and confirmed. So some great shooting.
That was ruthless. Now, the only benefit for the team is they don't have to then risk going out for the revive because of the very quick confirm on the knock.
And here we are with B4V. They've just had a player knocked. Knight coming under some pressure, and Knight has now been knocked and confirmed. So that's 2 B4V guys taken out very, very quickly there, somewhat separated from the rest of their team. who find themselves just outside of our circle. We're in phase 4 of the game with 42 players left alive. 14 teams still contesting the match at this point.
Yeah, and the next phase, the zone has just broken, and we're going to be centred just east of Milton Village. So those teams that actually stayed in the south, it's paying off for them. And if you can see at the very bottom of your screen there, the 17th century guys, they rotated over from the mini base in boats.
Right, yeah, right. Well, that bridge did look like a bit of a come on, didn't it? It did look like a bit of a death trap.
Yeah.
So B4V getting into it.
We're not waiting for you.
B4V getting into it with 4 Angry Birds, but 4 Angry Birds doing a great split pincer on them there, and ultimately coming through it. Well played them. They must have racked up quite a few kills by now, I think.
I think they have. They're what are they on? They're on 6 kills now already. So they've got the senior esports team are actually skirting round them. They've got a couple of teams to their east, and then they've got team 7 there, which is the Deathless 4 to their south.
And we're here with Vixard. And Vixard picking up some more kills. They've only lost the 1 player. So they're going to be coming in, and they've got not a bad position just inside circle. We've got another team potentially looking to reunite with their isolated teammate here. But these guys have squad number 15 now. I predict they're probably going to come under a hail of gunfire pretty soon.
Yeah, that's not a position I'd envy, actually, between 2-3 teams on the edge of Milton there.
Boom. There we go. And nade going out. So Tempura here from Vixard. Nose has got... And there, what a beautiful nade. Takes the knock on one of the boys mice there. Another nade goes out.
That was a stunning long-range nade. That was absolutely stunning.
And does a bit more damage there. And oh, but has a peak just a little bit once too often there. And some great shooting has taken him out. Now, should be easily revivable by his teammate. But that was some great counter fire coming in there.
It was. That was actually another squad. That was Deathless 4, Team 7, coming in and getting that third-party work on Vixard Tempura there.
And we've got a lot of people still down in the south. And I think the Blues just taking a load. So we're down to 33 players left alive now. 11 teams, though. We're still... 11 teams still competing in the scrim in phase 5 of the game.
Yeah, 17th Century, who rotated in from the Novo crates on the boats there to the south of the peninsula. That did not work out for them, because when they finally managed to get up the cliffs, they had about 2 squads waiting for them.
And Pika there coming under some fire from 4D. Offensive 4D here. Now they've established themselves a position on edge of circle, but they're going to be pushed by the blue relatively quickly. We've got 38 seconds before it starts to come in.
We have now the position. I like the team. Team 11. I like their position. The Kukuri Kasam, the KK team there. They are in centre zone now. As long as they can hold off the attention of every other team that's focusing on them, they are in a strong hard cover situation.
No, plenty of nades coming out, and oof, my word, that was a bit too close for comfort.
Zhao being revived here from Team 25, the Chunribu team, who coming under the attention of Raw.
And our friend Nemesis here, choosing to relocate using the contours on the hill. Good work.
Yeah, if he can carry on that push now, Zhao was being revived again. He's been putting in those nades, and they've been absolutely perfect. Lin didn't have time to heal, but has now managed to heal and get the revive in. A quicker push might have been able to finish both players then.
So basically now we have a situation where absolutely everybody is in this small zone. And I think this is where we're going to start losing a lot of players, Jamie.
Yeah, it's going to start thinning out very quickly. The zone's gone southeast, and we've already got a lot of teams in that area.
So there we are. We've got guys from rear going down. We've got 4 Angry Birds involved in a gunfight, coming under some pressure. 1 knocked, managing to get a revive, but looks like that vehicle has been blown. Nades coming out. Raw also coming under some pressure. More nades coming in from K12 Lin there. Finds himself too far out in the open. Has now been taken out. And look at this. We've got people dropping like flies here.
Yeah, I said about pushing the knock. That was just a little too open, a little too far on his own then.
And that also looks like one of the guys from Vixard being taken out. So for the players who have managed to establish themselves a little bit of comfort in zone, they've got plenty of people trying to push into their locations and take their prime spot away from them. There's still a number of people who have to rotate, and we're in phase 6 of the game with only 5 seconds till it starts to move, Jamie.
Yeah, and Team 7 up in the north, Deathless 4, they've been putting some good third-party work in, but they are very, very exposed up in the far north there. One player's been knocked already.
All right, there's Raw from Nemesis coming under some pressure. Slightly isolated from the rest of his teammates. Team 24 just off to their left. 2 teams in front of them. And they've also got this team here just to their right. So it looks like we're going to have quite an open zone finish here, Jamie.
We are. You've got that slight hill, you've got a tree, and that's about it. I think the 4D Deathless 4 team have indeed been taken down by the play zone. Everyone else is just about in zone, but to the western side, as we see it now, look how congested it's getting as teams try and make their way in. As you said, it's so open.
And our friend here from Team 13 is the only surviving member of his team. He's got himself a little bit of cover, but he's now found himself out of circle, so he is going to have to move.
Yep, he's got a ghillie suit, but I'm not sure it's going to help because you've got about 400 pairs of eyes looking at you as you come out of that tower.
Yeah,
so I hope he's got plenty of smokes ready.
And it looks like the guys from KK are starting to move up now. Our friends from GK here, who's this? Squad number 9, RE8. They've got themselves a position edge of circle, but they're coming under tension. Molly's coming in now.
And that's the danger. There's just so many throwables coming in now.
And here we go. This looks like one way or another. There's a hard push going.
Oh, very clever. Shi Yi from REA there actually got in the UAS as it pulled up to hide the footsteps.
Yeah, it was great play there. So we're down to 15 players left alive, 6 teams. And our friends from KK here still involved in this push towards this pylon area, top of the high ground. It's not a bad location, but we've got 2 players from RIA who are currently defending it. We've also got a full squad from Raw, actually, not too far away from this one. But they're coming under some pressure.
From Senior Esports, he's managed to get out the building, and he's actually going to act as the spoiler here. He's running in behind this battle.
And more nades coming in. And yeah, Ohm has managed to... Well, he's not quite got himself in circle yet because it's very small. We're in phase 8 of the game. One way or another, this is coming to an end in the next couple of minutes, folks. And yeah, call this one. People with slightly better elevated positions. But yeah, it sometimes can be this lethal single player coming in from an unexpected direction that really can change the tide.
Well, exactly, yeah. And he's just got an aid onto Candyman and knocked him. Now look at this, Team 12 Raw. They've still got 4 guns in the fight now. They've got 1 player of the 4 Angry Birds to their right next to their flank. But apart from that, they are in such a strong position here.
They are indeed, and looks like we've got going forward now, trying to draw the fire. 1 of 4 Angry Birds goes down. The rest of Raw are starting to push in on the birds now. Another knock established from Vanix there. Great work. Only Falcon left, I think. And I think they want this cleared. Here we go. And there we go. Some great work from Raw at the end there, living up to their name. A great push on 4 Angry Birds. Incredibly well timed and ultimately proving to be successful and taking the win there. So in first place we have Raw with 15 kills, 7 for Vanix. In second place, 4 Angry Birds had a great game also, 9 kills for that team. And in third, we have Senior Esports with Ohm picking up 5, who did a great job surviving well up to the end to take third place for his team there. Right, it looks like Vanix is going to be our individual top fragger from that game. I don't think I saw anybody lighting up more than 7.
No, I didn't see anyone. We had some good, as you say, Ohm with 5 kills there, and most of those were late stage as he's picked off players using the ghillie suit to good effect.
Yep, so some fantastic work. What on earth is that? Please stop that. What on earth? Stop. Yes, very much skip. No, that was intense. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to take a very, very quick break, and we'll be back shortly for game number 2. We'll see you soon. Okay, welcome back, boys and girls, and a fantastic conclusion to game number 1 there. Raw ultimately proving victorious. Just wanted to mention also that the stream this evening is actually being streamed to 2 different platforms, so you can either watch this on YouTube, on my channel, Vimes177 Gaming, or to Jammy Gaming, his channel on Trovo. So dependent upon your platform of choice, you are actually able to watch the stream on either platform. You'll see exactly the same footage. Jammy, we had a couple of little contacts. Looked like it was going to get busy in Yasnaya, but then sort of petered out a little bit. Some interesting stuff north of Bridge. Middle phase of game was basically like a Mad Max movie. Everybody was just driving everywhere, trying to get into that small circle right out towards Milton there. And then that just made for some very, very tough rotations coming at the final phases of play.
It really did. And as you say, we had a couple of skirmishes early on. We had that one in Yasnaya where a player um, knew where one team was, but not where the other team. And he got taken out pretty quickly up there when snaking by the concrete. And then we saw some skirmishes over in Georgia Pole. But the big feature of that game, I think, was the rotations because no one was that far from zone. And yet it seemed like everybody was driving all of the time. The zone shifts were such that they were fairly hard shifts, but everywhere was open. If not, even though there were buildings, it seemed like it was just all open zone.
Yeah, I mean, various teams managed to find themselves little isolated pieces of cover and mount a sort of squad house defence a little bit, but then ultimately it was back into the vehicles again. And that sort of dominated those final stages of play. Some great pushes at the end there. For Angry Birds and Senior Esports certainly doing some great work. Nice to see Senior Esports getting in the top three. Now that they're up in the Lobby A. We did cover them last week in Lobby B. So great to see some good action from those guys. But ultimately, the team from Raw there, just numbers and position told. And in the end, the final push on For Angry Birds was accomplished pretty quickly.
Exactly that. They had the numbers in the fight, and what they did that was really important is they cleared their flank, which meant they could concentrate on what was in front of them. The zone was right behind them, so they knew that they could just look forwards. Now they were helped a little bit by Ohm from Senior Esports, who was there in the ghillie suit doing that spoiler job, and he was picking up individuals from For Angry Birds.
He was mercilessly snaking there, but you can't blame him really, coming into that many guns, fighting to get into zone. He did a great job to make it in, I have to say, and picked up third place for his team there. So, I mean, a great individual performance by him. I think he picked up 5 kills as well. But ultimately, the guys from Raw just proving far too strong in game number 1. A little bit quiet at the beginning, but we've noticed that before, and we're on Miramar for game number 2, and this one does tend to be quite exciting, Jamie.
It does, yeah. Miramar with TipTop is a goer. I mean, Miramar can be a little slow sometimes.
How dare you, Jamie? It's full of endless nail-biting stuff sitting around in your tent.
I haven't watched this every week. Miramar is my favourite map, and it's quite possibly Vibes' least favourite map.
It really is, yes. But that's because
we see with TipTop, we tend to get early skirmishes where people drop and they drop at each other's loot locations and they won't shy away from that fight.
No.
Then we have the tactical part, which is where are they going to rotate? Where's the zone going? And with the distances involved, of course, that's really important on Miramar.
And
then we get either the dusty hillside for the finish, or we get building to building in Los Leones or El Pozo or somewhere like that.
Yeah, we've. I think for some reason every single. I mean, we generally get pretty exciting gameplay from this standard of player anyway, but Miramar just tends to throw up some very exciting games. I really do enjoy watching these boys and girls go at it on Miramar. We've certainly got plenty of high caliber action coming. A lot of teams putting in some great gun work at the end there. So certainly, I'd imagine we're going to have lots of excitement in game number 2. Flight line on Miramar, of course. I mean that can really set the tone of the game, can't it? Because it is such a big map. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes and where some of our contending teams are picking for their drop locations. I would expect we've just got so many teams in here who can contest wins in these scrims. So I think we're going to be in for an exciting few more games, Jamie.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. And what you said about Miramar, what can be that rotation phase where they're looking to get to the zone, they're planning their rotation, and all the teams are drive around, and because of the distances involved, they might not see each other. But what we do find is these teams often go to the same places when they're doing that phase.
Yeah.
And because they're not worried about taking on a fight, in what is traditionally, the phase when they're all driving around, that's when we actually see some of the best fights.
So I think we're not too far away from going out now. Looks like, no, that's interesting. Raw only have 3 players in at the moment. Those are our winners of game number 1. So potentially, I think he's the only one missing. Yes, indeed. So yeah,
Yes, yeah.
Raw need to get their fourth player in. It'd be a shame for them to go in as a 3, having played so well in game number 1.
It's good to see all those Conqueror frames.
Well, yeah, nothing but Conqueror frames. Yeah, the Conqueror frames to people like you and I, Jammy, are these mythical things that we'll never get. That's what it is. So it's nice to see other people have them. So yeah, I don't think we're too long away from the plane now. I do hope our friend from Raw manages to get himself into the room.
I think he's in.
And yes, there we go. We have a full lobby by the look of it.
Full lobby.
So I would imagine we're going to be going in fairly soon. Come on, don't keep us waiting, boys and girls. Yep, 84 players, I think. Oh, 85.
I think one of the players maybe lost. Oh, we've got an extra player.
We've got an extra player showed up.
I think maybe one of them Raw.
I think maybe, yeah, they managed to ping somebody and say, get in quick. So I imagine they probably kicked that last player there. So, yep, looks like we're going into game number 2, boys and girls. And probably going to have to, now that you're all starting to shoot up in the lobby before the plane, thank you for that. So I might have to turn the old volume down a bit.
Yeah, that was a bit of a surprise when I went into my first game after the update.
Yeah.
And it's all calm and, we're in a squad game, so I'm following other people and I'm maybe not 100% concentrating because it's only the spawn lobby. And then suddenly everyone's shooting at me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rude, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know people like to shoot me. It happens a lot.
You guys are ruining my pre-game commentary. You know that? Okay. Stop acting like a bunch of thugs. Who am I talking to? This lot can't stop being a bunch of thugs. They're great.
I know.
Okay, I'm going to turn that down just a little. Well, in my earpiece anyway.
So mine's still on the loading screen again.
Really? You're having a few issues this evening?
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't know why.
Right, well, I've just checked the YouTube feed and...
Oh, yeah, the feed's fine. It's just my,
okay.
my phone on my feed.
So we have our plane, and yeah, we're going from the northeast Campo Militar down to, well, just north of Valdemar there. So certainly the main central job locations all in range there, Jammy. We had a pretty central one on Erangel as well, didn't we? So, yeah, what do you make of this one, mate?
Well, yeah, I mean, most of the more popular drop locations are well in range. Areas like Los Leones and the rest down in the southeast, the people would need to grab a vehicle, which I'm sure they'll be doing anyway. But as we know with Miramar, it's where's the first zone in relation to the flight line? That's what's going to be important. Are half the team's going to have to go 5 kilometers to get to zone? Is it going to be quite a benign zone and actually fall maybe in the flight line? I mean, if we have a first zone that's centered around Los Leones or somewhere like that, that could just add in plenty of chaos.
Yeah, and one of our teams has jumped early and hit Campo Militar. It looks like they might be the only ones there, though. So we'll have to see if the circle's going to be nice to them. Our winners of game number 1, Raw, they're still on the plane. They're going for a late drop.
So they're heading down to, I'm going to assume, Valdemar or maybe even Prison Island.
And there were a number of squads jumped right off the end of the plane there. I'm just going to keep an eye, see if we potentially get any action in and around Picardo. Nobody went to Hacienda, and there's, oh my word, that's pretty much identical to Miramar, isn't it? It's gone to the same location on the map.
Nostra Jammies.
No, yeah, as Erangel, sorry. Yeah, it's pretty much gone to the same kind of thing. Central flight line, and bang, there we go, southeast.
Well, I said if it centres around Los Leones, it's going to add in that bit of chaos. But look at the number of teams. Look how far they're going to have to rotate. And it's not just the distance. Look at the teams on the western side. They're going to have to rotate past about 10 teams just to get to zone.
Okay, so we're here with our friends from 17th century esports. I'm going to have to work out what 17th century esports were, man. I mean, what was that? Throwing rocks at each other? I have no idea. You didn't have M4s back then, fellas. I'm just saying. Okay.
I suppose they would have probably had muskets. No, they had muskets. Flintlocks.
Matchlocks back then, I think.
Yeah,
And, you know, as I said, I was a young Lance Corporal at the time. And okay, so we're here with 17th Century Esports. Now, one of their players certainly came under a little bit of fire as they came in on the drop. And we can see, yeah, showing slightly reduced health there. Nothing being pushed at this moment in time, though.
No, and it's actually Team 22, the revenge team, that have lost one of their players. Pongi's the one that went down early. And interesting to see, given where the flight line was, look at that congestion on that main road between Los Leones up to El Pozo through Monte Nuevo.
Yeah.
Look at the number of teams that are in the small compounds either side of that road. You'd think that the flight line went along that road.
So here we are with our friends from CRB, squad number 25. And looks like they've lost a player early, Jamie.
They have, yeah. I'm just who's around them, trying to see who it is. It's team 14 there.
Team 14 rotating through in a vehicle. We've also got a guy from Team 18 not too far away and not quite managing to connect up there. But our friend there's probably going to come under quite a bit of fire in a minute.
Yeah, and that was Stupidista rotating past. And I'm going to say, it might be sounding a little harsh, but very lucky to get away with that.
Very lucky indeed. Now, we are here with team number 18, and that's CRB. Now, they have one player knocked. They're managing to get him back onto his feet. But we've also got two other teams around them.
Yeah, so the K12, sorry, the CRB K12 team to the north, they've also got the...
Struggling somewhat for loot. Not completely geared up yet.
No, and they are being pushed by the CRB team, the Chanribo, and then they've got the Deathless 4 to the south as well.
So here we are with Yang from CRB. Knows which warehouse they're in. Looking for... And here we go. He's got eyes on. What's he carrying? Is that DBS and AK? So not necessarily the best weapons for spraying at this range.
No, but I'm sure he's going to have a go. Or is he just getting information for his team, I think? Yeah, I think maybe he's doing... Oh, no, you don't want to be doing a DBS from there. It's a hell of a weapon, but not that distance.
That distance would be, yeah, that would be impressive.
Yeah, it certainly would. But look at Zhao as well. So Yang and Zhao doing a really good sort of pincer movement here. They've got two sides covered.
And I'm not certain if... I mean, he is looking to get a flanking firing position on here. It's gone for quite a wide rotation.
Yeah, Lin coming in from the north in the vehicle as well. So they've got two directions covered. They've got the east and the west. Lin is now coming in the vehicle.
That's these two guys
ready to unleash something on them, I think.
I hope so, because it's been a bit of a build-up, you know. Come on, guys, don't let me down. Here we go. There's player in the open. Players in the open. Come on.
There we go.
Some great tap fire going in there, but also taking some rounds in return. Out goes the nade.
I think Lin either went slightly too early or slightly too late, because he did it when there was just the slightest glimpse of the player. They could have waited, because they'd obviously lulled them into a bit of a false sense of security there, I think.
All right. So nobody looking to push hugely aggressively at this point. Just going to have a look at these guys. They seem to be pretty much on top of each other. And yeah, we've got a fight going on here. So this is D1. They've got two players down.
A bit of fun and games over in Monty. These guys up on the top of the hill. It's actually one of my favourite drop locations, this is. Up on top of the hill.
Well, we're going to jump into now another D1 player knocked inside the building, and it looks like an aggressive push is coming up the stairs. Nade's coming out, doing his best to try and cover his teammate, but wants to keep his gun in his hand. And here comes the push. Here we go. And yeah, three against one there. Pretty ruthless push. Fantastic work. So that's 2 of the guys from D1 taken out. And their friends covering on the high ground, not really able to assist too much, and probably now going to be looking to rotate out of this, Jamie.
I think so, yeah. They're getting out. There's no point trying to take on that fight. They have got the high ground, so if they've got something with the scopes, they could maybe get some damage in, but I don't think they're going to be able to do too much from that distance. Now, just the fight that we saw, the CRB team have actually managed to get that fight over and done with now.
You see your builders up, guys, and you know, yeah, I don't know. What are you doing? What are you doing?
They were just waiting for you to switch to another fight.
I know. I'm sure somebody's watching the stream saying he's gone off. You know, guys, push.
Yeah.
So
we've still got a lot of teams well out of zone.
We have indeed, and well, obviously we're still very early game. Funnily enough, our friends from Raw, who dropped right at the end of the flight line, our winners of game number 1, they've made a very, very fast rotation early game down to the southern coast here, which might be a useful position, Jamie.
Certainly is, and what they did, you see REA and Zone Brother gone to Prison Island and Valdemar. The Raw team just went straight to the road, got vehicles, and then rotated immediately towards Zone. They didn't mess around. They made sure that Zone was their priority.
Okay, so we are here with team number 7, who we saw contesting in final stages of game number 1 in Miramar. That's the Deathless Fort. And looks like they've got, that's squad number 6 rotating through on vehicles.
Bit of information gathering there from LSL.
It was going to be tough from there, I think. So deciding not to fire.
Yeah, if he had a bolt action, he might have taken on the shot, I think. But with the DMR, it's just not worth it because you just can't get that real strong hit.
And we're here with 4 Angry Birds. Now, they look like they're in the middle of a gunfight with Senior Esports. So these are 2 teams who were contesting top 3 in the last game. These guys are well out in the blue. I mean, only phase 1 of the game. It's not hurting too much, but do 2 teams of this kind of standard really want to be taking chunks out of each other in the blue phase 1 of the game?
No, and we can see here that they are rotating out. They're not getting involved. They've established the knock, which gives them the chance to escape. And we see the phase 2 zone has broken. We're centered around Impala, so even the 2 islands to the east are still in play. Look how quickly Raw move.
Raw moving straight away, and look at how many people we've actually got in vehicles. It's pretty much everybody's driving. This is starting to look a bit like, this is looking like a slightly different location, but same kind of gameplay as match number 1. Everybody driving for this, but then that's beside. I mean, we had very similar flight lines, a very similar zone location. I mean, it's going to lead to a similar style of play.
It is. It's that, we get that hard shift. You've got a long way to go, and people are learning. Yes, you can fight outside of in the blue zone, but what's the point? If you've got a strong in-game lead who says no, we're going to break away from here. We need those few seconds to get in the vehicle. So that's why we saw as soon as they established the knock, they were able to they rotated out. They didn't push the knock. They took their own game first.
So still plenty of people from the south and north attempting to make their way into the zone here. Raw establishing themselves in a good warehouse location. They've got Vixard not too far away from them. And who's this coming in? And everybody in vehicles, Jerry.
Yeah, there's a lot of vehicles on this map, apparently. So, yeah, everybody in vehicles. So, Team 23 coming in now. They are... I don't think we featured them much. Cyber Esports.
Yeah.
To give them their full title, it's Cyber Esports Karate CIS.
Fair enough.
Yep. That's some beautiful work there on the motorbike. And they are heading into centre zone, but they're heading straight into one of the CRB guys at centre zone there, Yang. So
we're here now with squad number 16. That's Zone Brother, and they're getting into it with who's that? 7 Deathless Fort.
It is. Now, these guys are their edge of zone. So this is when they rotated off that southern prison island. And they're being held on the bridge here. Now, you can see probably just to the left of camera slightly, you got the REA team coming in, Team 9. They're going to be coming straight past Team 7. Now, are they going to get involved in a fight? No, they're all rotating out, actually. Yeah. Team 7 and 9 are both rotating.
Everybody making their way across. Now, REA have started to come under a little bit of fire here. But effectively, now the Blues now moving in. We're still only phase 2 of the game. But yeah, it's moving. It's basically the moving phase of the game. These boys and girls want into this zone. They know that they potentially, with this kind of zone location, this is perfect for gatekeeping squads coming from outside.
It is. As soon as those REA guys go, what they're going to find is they've got the 4 Angry Birds coming in from the west as well. So we saw them rotate all the way from near El Pozo. They came all the way down the western road. Now they're on the southern road. They're going to be pretty much last into zone. So they're not going to have choice of location. They're just going to rock up to probably a couple of other squads.
So basically, it's all being a little bit cagey at the moment. Everybody playing it positionally, looking for their rotations. We've still got 63 players left alive. We're still in phase 2 of the game. So I predict that means we're going to get into a lot of excitement later on.
Yeah, it's going to be very congested, especially as at the moment, nearly half the zone is water. So they're going to be so congested in the compounds.
So we're here with Raw.
Especially centre.
They're getting into it with squad number 6 T2K. Trying to kill, and looks like they're going on the hunt, Jamie. They've got one player knocked.
Just one knocked. They're on the hunt now. They can smell blood here.
Oof, that was a close gunfight, but Nemesis ultimately doing the business there.
Yeah, that was not an easy one. I expected that, with the 2 guns to take that a bit quicker than they did. I think they made it maybe just the slight cover of the buggy and some good work from the opposition player as well. So this is...
so we're here with the last member of T2K on his feet, Hanier. Now he's got a knocked teammate, but his knocked teammate is being covered by a couple of the guns from Raw there, and I think that's the right decision, my friend. Always disappointing when you have to leave a teammate behind, but there's not really a lot you could have done there.
Yeah, less of a teammate, more just bait, I think, at this stage.
Absolutely, and that's exactly why Raw didn't thirst him immediately. But yeah, I think he's made the right choice there. Okay, we're starting to come into it, and how similar is this situation, Jamie, to what we saw in game 1?
Another hard shift. We're centred around Impala. We've still got the coast is still in play. So this is going to be so tight as teams rotate in. You can see how many teams are in the south and the west here. But look at the teams that went in early. So the CRB team, it already established a centre zone.
So around the Impala area, coastline is still in play at this moment in time. A lot of teams now rotating in from the southwest.
Yeah, it's very, very congested on that southwestern side. Now, the nature of the hills, of course, is, yes, you can drive up them, but it's so rugged and hilly that most of them are using the roads, and that means they're all in it together. So we've got 4 Angry Birds, we've got the what's they called, Deathless 4, and REA, all down in the south at the moment.
So we got Road Gods Gaming here, and they're getting into it with KK. Nade's going through the building. And that was a very effective nade there. Or maybe it was a third-party fire, but one of the guys from squad number 11 has now gone down knocked. But we are getting some third-party work, so taking some fire from the flank there.
We are. We've got the CRB team sent. I think it's them putting in some shots, or it could be Team 23, the CEK.
Yeah, another player from Rogue taken out there. So it's only our friend here is on his feet, and potentially looking to get away from this one, but ultimately hunted down by the players from KK. Great work from those guys. 6 kills they've established now. The players from KK having a good one so far.
They certainly are, yeah. And if you go to, sorry to jump in, if you go to the mini-map now, look at Raw, the position they're in. They've managed to just get themselves to edge of zone. Now they've got Division 1, they've got 4 Angry Birds. 4 Angry Birds have gone for a 2-2 split. They're going either side of the Raw team. You've got 2 to the north, 2 to the west, 2 to the east, and Division 1 as well.
So we're here with squad number 16, that's Zone Brother. There we go, an overlook here slightly on squad number 23, Cyber Esports. And
he needs a bigger scope on that M24.
But a knock established on Samurai there. His last remaining teammate doing his best to get him up. So they do have some elevation here, but they don't have the numbers. And now they're coming under some pressure from the guys down below.
They are. The only good thing is they're because of where zone's gone, the other team aren't going to be concentrating on them. They'll be concentrating on getting to zone.
That's exactly it. And as we've got relatively few teams in zone at the moment. We've got a couple of guys who've established a presence on coast and up to the north. But this is where it's all going to be taking place down in the south here as everybody tries to rotate in. We are currently coming towards the last minutes of phase 4 of the game. We've got 47 players left alive and 15 teams. So, yep, I imagine we're going to be in for some fairly busy zones 5, 6 and 7, Jeremy.
We are, and look at that. There's a clever rotation there from Zone Brother. I hope it works out for them. They're about to come in and drive past Team 11 there,
yeah.
The KKs. But clever, they went out into the blue, round the mountain, just so they didn't have to drive through the team in front of them.
They might have just made it through. That's a 4x4 smoking a bit, but made it through.
Yep, it's a risky 4x4 at the moment. Now they're going to have to rotate all the way round to the north to Impala if they're going to be able to get into zone without seeing anyone. But at the moment, I think they might be coming under the attention of Ice Cream or 17th Century.
So we're here with Ice Cream now. They've managed to rack up a couple of kills, these guys. They're slightly outside of circle. Now they know they've got a player from 25 on this crate. And our friend from 25 doing a great job establishing one knock, but ultimately taken out there by the other player. So the guys from Ice clearing that one up.
And you can see in the background, we got Zone Brother. They just about made it to head of zone on the roadside, and they were putting some shots into all this fight as well.
Now taking a bit of cover in this quite isolated building. Some fire coming through the door there. Now our friends from Ice not too happy about the third-party work there, and they're making their displeasure known.
Yeah, this is not a comfortable little hut. They are 20 metres outside zone as well.
Yeah. And look at this, all kicking off now. Here we are with Ice again. They're getting into it. It was this KK who we saw getting into it earlier. Beautiful drop shot there. I think they both went for the same thing. He takes the kill, but takes some damage from his left flank. So some great work there from Ice.
That was really good work. As you said, they both tried the drop shot. And it was, well, it was almost like a 50-50 who was going to take that one.
So some nades coming out now from the boys from Ice, but these teams are finding themselves outside of circle.
Yeah, we've got circle shifted. It's kept going north. It's gone slightly inland now, the circle.
And here we are with our friend Hawk from squad number 21. He's getting into it with, is that Cyber Esports, Team 23?
It is. Trying to cook the perfect nade. Doesn't quite connect.
And he seems a bit isolated. Some great work there. Does the business with the AK. Molly to follow. Ruthless stuff.
Yeah, that is ruthless. He was roughly aware of where the player was. He was just cooking a nade, popped his head over, just saw exactly where the player was and saw that the player had turned his back on him. And he had the perfect opportunity to switch to his AK and get the bullets in.
Yep, establishes the knock there. Now he's going to join the rest of his teammates who are rotating in, but then they're rotating in very, very close to our friends Vixard.
Yes, they certainly are. And yes, we've got Vixard and F5 to the south. 4 Angry Birds are coming in to join them as well. Then we've got CEK, then Ice Cream, all of those on the south. And then to the slight east of there, we've got Simply Business Alpha as well. Team 20 coming in from the eastern side onto Vixard.
Vixard coming under a lot of pressure now, getting pushed by squad number 20, doing his best to get his teammate up.
Nice defensive nade there. Oof, took a chunk out as well.
But Vixard are in very tough location now, and they're coming up from fire from behind them as well now. So you have to say our friends from Vixard really coming under it, getting some smoke out.
Yeah, they're under a lot of pressure here. The two remaining players from, I think it's Simply Business that are putting the hurt in, as well as F5 as well.
I think we're here with Cyber Esports. They're trying to establish a presence, getting into zone, but they're being gate-kept somewhat by the boys from ICE. They've also got two squads, I think, fighting just off to their right.
I'm not sure. Is he trying to blow the vehicle, I think? I think he must have been.
So,
just to provide his teammate with some cover there as he gets the revive on.
We're here with the 4 Angry Birds. Now, they've managed to rack up 6 kills so far, but most importantly for this phase of the game, phase 6, they've managed to keep themselves together as a squad of 4.
Yeah, still. And we saw in game 1 how important that is to have those 4 guns in the game, especially when everyone else is starting to get weaker.
But coming under some pressure from F5 there. And these guys are slightly out of circle. They know they've got to move and rotate. They've got Vixard not too far away. I mean, well, basically anywhere they push now, they're going to be running towards players. But our friend Genius here has established a presence just inside of circle.
Yeah, really important. We see that Ice Cream have taken centre zone now. Zone is actually centred across, straddling that road.
And yeah, some great predictive play there. Knew that F5 were going to have to rotate through. So that's a knock established on 1. And our friend from F5 there coming under increasing amount of pressure. And finds himself in the blue with a knocked teammate. And got nothing but angry guns pointed at him. And yep, 4 Angry Birds doing the business again there.
And we see here how important the Ice Cream getting that position in zone. They're still in zone for the next one as well. We're going to be slightly on the southern hillside overlooking the road. And we've got 5 teams, 15 players remaining. And there are knocks all over the place.
Friends here coming under a huge amount of pressure. ICE occupying a very nice location here in this small compound, edge of circle. I think they might be just outside now, actually.
Yeah, so Tanguan is in one of the end rooms for Ice Cream and is just in zone.
And one of the guys from 17th Century, well, that looks like good. Yeah, that looked a bit weird.
Yeah, just been taken out.
Yeah, taken out by his own teammate, though, by the look of it.
Oh.
So we are down to 4 teams left alive. 13 players. We're in phase 7 of the game. 10 seconds till it pops and moves. And these are the 4 teams. We're looking at 4 Angry Birds, Cyber Esports. Who's that? RG, we've got ICE and RG. That's Revenge.
Interesting to see what young Mao's doing at the bottom of the screen there. I think he might be going off to loot some crates, maybe trying to get some more smokes.
And that's Cyber Esports taken out by the 4 Angry Birds. And team number 22 coming under increasing amount of pressure here, and that's them cleared up. So I think it's down to the 4 Angry Birds and ICE, 2 teams that have been very, very competitive so far, and these guys aren't too far away from each other. And yep, we're going to get down to it now. 4 Angry Birds have the slight advantage, establishing quick knocks. And look at this push from the Birds here. I think this is going to prove too strong for our friend.
I have to agree. This is a really aggressive push from the 4 Angry Birds.
What
a push.
Great piece of work for 4 Angry Birds there. Just fantastic play from those Birds. And, yeah, just textbook stuff. We commented on them that they were lighting up the kill feed. Great work keeping their squad together and just timed the push there to perfection. So they take the win in first place with 16 kills. 6 apiece for Genius and... who's that? Fifi? 15. Yeah, okay. 15. ICE also having a very, very good game. Not quite coming through at the end there. But they pick up 8 kills, 5 for Yuan. And in third place, we have the boys and girls from RG. That's Revenge, isn't it?
Yep. I think, yes, it is. Yes, Revenge.
They pick up 6 kills. So it looks like we've got 2 players sharing 6 kills for our top fragger award at the moment. We'll have a quick scroll here. I can't see anybody else coming close to 6. We got Jan with 5 in Johan with 5 in squad number 2. But just fantastic work for following Boys there. Jamie and I will be back very shortly for a bit of post-match analysis and introduction to game number 3. So we'll be back with you boys and girls very, very soon. We'll see you soon. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. And yeah, more fun and games and good, exciting play in match number 2. Very similar format. It was weird how similar those two games were, with the very central fight lines and then hard zone rotations down to the southeast of the map, which led to a very similar style of play. We had some early contacts, people establishing position, going for these rotations. And then a lot of same thing. We had a lot of vehicle work in the middle phases of the game, and then as we came into it, basically a lot of teams fighting in to get into zone. But at the end, there came down to Revenge Ice, who'd already been doing some great work. Cyber Esports were in contesting at the end there as well, which is great to see. Some other teams contesting final stages of the game. But ultimately, the 4 Angry Birds proved just too strong there, Jamie.
Yeah, exactly as you say. Another very hard zone shift, a northern, an east and western flight line, and then a southeastern zone. We saw a lot of action edge of zone. Each time the zone shifted, edge of zone, the teams were congested. They were trying to get in. We saw the teams that took early, quick rotations had the best time of it because they were already in zone. They didn't have to fight on the edges. Now, that final fight when we had 3 teams remaining, Ice Cream had a brilliant position. They had hard cover. They were doing really well. And it was actually Revenge, Team 22. Their decision was either to go towards Ice Cream or go towards the 4 Angry Birds. They chose to go towards Ice Cream. And what that meant was, although Ice Cream won the battle, they were beaten up, they'd lost players. And so when 4 Angry Birds with that brilliant, super aggressive push, really quick work, it meant there was just no match for them.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Going into those final phases of the game as a 4, but I mean, they hadn't been shying away from the gunfights, Jeremy. They certainly. I mean, I think they took 16 kills in the end, that team.
Yes.
So they've been in and around action. We've been covering them mid game. So they certainly weren't camping it out, and they kept themselves together. And as you say, a slight easing of pressure there, based on their good location, slightly across that road, gave them a moment of pause whilst Ice and Revenge got into it, and that was all the incentive that 4 Angry Birds needed, with that very hard push and 2 very quick knocks established very early in that final gunfight, and ultimately a 1-on-4 push with 4 Angry Birds coming at you shooting. That's who wants to experience that.
Yeah, and I think had that fight between Revenge and Ice Cream not happened, if it was just a straight team on team, then maybe they might have been a little less aggressive. They might have used that hill that they had as a bit of cover, put in some nades and mollies and the like, and smoked their way across. But because they knew that fight had happened, they knew that Ice Cream would be hurting. And so they just fully sent it, and it really paid off for them. Really good to see such aggression.
Yeah. They certainly hit the thirst pedal on that one. But yeah, it was just great timing, great play throughout the game from 4 Angry Birds. You can't really fault a performance like that when you dominate. When you take a win with 16 kills and come away as a 4 at the end, completely managing to overpower anybody in your path. I mean, that is a very, very dominant performance. And of course, they weren't too far away in game number 1. They were in the final 3 in game number 1. I think they came second actually in game number 1.
Yeah, and do you remember where they started actually in that Miramar game? They were so deep into the blue. They were on the very western side up by El Paso, weren't they?
That's right.
And they just got out of a fight there. They rotated all the way west. They rotated all the way along that southern road, got themselves into zone, and yeah, so they weren't one of the teams that took that quick rotation because they were held up by a gunfight up in the northwest.
Yep. It's just it was a great performance from 4 Angry Birds, and I've no doubt we'll be seeing plenty of them in our next game. And game number 3, we will by definition have a slightly different style of gameplay because we're on Sarnock, one of my favourite maps. So the nature of rotations, the nature of zone is very much turned on its head, as we all know. Most rotations are done on foot, so we're going to get
or on your belly.
We're probably going to get a very different flavour this game, Jamie.
Yeah, we'll probably get a lot more. We tend to get a lot more early engagements. the likes of Boot Camp, classically Paradise, Painan, and those sort of areas. Now, as you know, my favourite is where the Three Rivers meet west of Boot Camp,
Yeah.
around that northwestern island.
That section there, round about yeah, well, you're just to the north of the Painan area, aren't you? Where where basically you've got the three coastlines all almost within nade range of each other, and yeah, if you get a hard shift of zone there, it can be so difficult for teams to plan their rotations as to which coastline they need to be on. They always tend to be very fast and frenetic, very exciting. We'll see what we get from our zones. We've had some interesting zones in games 1 and 2. And I've no doubt either way we're going to get some very exciting gameplay in Game 3. We're going in now. So, yes, looking forward to more of the same from these great bunch of players that we get here in Lobby A for TipTop EU Open Scrims. And yes, I must admit, Sarnok's one of my favourites. Just tends to be very exciting stuff. So hopefully you boys and girls aren't going to let me down, apart from shooting in my ear. You bunch of lunatics.
See, as soon as they get given a gun, they don't just talk about it.
I
They
know.
don't sit there and clean it, make sure it's all nice and maintained. They just shoot everybody.
I know. Some of these people have got some real anger management issues, I'm telling you.
Well, they did have up to about an hour ago, and they're all calm now. Oh, excuse me, just grabbing a drink before the chaos. Very sensible. Just drinking some tonic water. There you go. Just say no, kids.
Okay, so we got the countdown, and we shall be on the plane very, very shortly. He says. Thank you for that. Moment of pause there, just to give the old Vimes a heart attack. Thank you for that. Okay, and well, I mean, there's not really much point saying what's in range on Sarnok. Pretty much everything is, but Central Flight Line again. Boot Camp Paradise certainly going to be in contestation. Painan can be quite an interesting drop with a flight line like this. So yes, we shall see. We've got a lot of early jumpers, Jamie.
We have a huge number of early jumpers now. Though most of them are all spreading out, but with lots of teams jumping out very quickly. Does that mean we're not going to have many going up to the northeastern side? We've got quite a few looking like they're going down towards Kampong Docks area, that sort of peninsula down in the southeast. Painan looks very busy. Nobody at Boot Camp.
Nobody in Boot Camp. We've got a couple of teams in Paradise, but I think we're going to head over Painan because that looks a bit insane.
Yes. Yep, there's a party and the rest weren't invited by the looks of it. We've got, I think, 4 teams. We've got Rogue, Vixard, CEK and B4V all in Painan there.
See, I mean, that's what I love about the PUBG community, mate. They're all so friendly. They want to be right next to each other.
Yeah. And Raw getting involved as well, and that's down at Kampong, where we've got Raw and KK. Yeah, it looks like everybody's just jumped together.
So we've got an early push coming on Cyber Esports here. Goes for the drop, but ultimately taken out. That's 2 players for Cyber Esports, 3 killed now. So Cyber Esports, who did so well at contest late stages of game number 2, coming under huge amounts of pressure early stages here in Painan.
They certainly are. And we've got Rogue and B4V the other side of the river from this fight. We've got a knock apiece, B4V and Rogue.
And one of the Rogue team slightly separated from his teammates, looking to re-establish contact.
In fact, no, they don't have a knock apiece. It's actually Chunju. He's just very low on health here. I thought he'd been knocked, but no, it's Stupidista from Rogue, who has been knocked. So Rogue now they've got 3 remaining up on their feet. So the trouble is they can't just push B4V because they've also got the Vixard guys the other side of the river.
And a bit of thirst. Who doesn't love that? Ruthless stuff. I think we've covered one recently where a guy got into an early game with a pistol and literally shot the guy in the face with a pistol for the thirst. That was just cold.
It was. And he lined it up as well. There was no sort of casual. He was just lining him up. He was probably reading him some sort of witty one-liner.
Well, half of this lobby are far too young to remember Make My Day Punk, but yeah, that's what I was thinking at the time.
Tell us the old stories, Grandad.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Dirty Harry was a legend, mate. I'm telling you, he just was. Anybody
To the east of Painan, we've actually got the Deathless 4 as well. Now, I'm not sure. They've got a 2-2 split here. Now, I think they might actually be heading... They're going to try and cut people off as they retreat from Painan, I think. Or are they actually going to charge in and rush Painan?
So, we're here with our friends from Vixard. They're more than aware that they've got teams around them. Nades going out. There's Knight from B4V. Just had a little peek at that window there.
Yeah, and shots are coming in from Team 7 in the background there.
Yep, it's probably not a bad call because we knew Painan was probably going to be busy with that flight line, and these guys hitting the high ground above, saying, "Yep, let's take some, a more strategic overview, as it were." But that is a knock established on one of the B4V players. That's Knight.
No, that was actually one of the Rogue team that got that knock established. So now everybody knows there's a third team in Painan.
Yeah, and I think that's our fellas from squad number 7. They're making their presence felt up on that high ground, as Jambi was saying.
Yeah, they're coming in. So Buji is just trying to get the cover, while two of his teammates have been not just knocked but thirsted as well. So it's only him and NATO remaining. So they're going to have to hold on from 3 other teams here.
So the Deathless 4 still looking at that. We're going to quickly nip in to see Vixard, and it looks like they are going for the push on B4V. We're here with Knight, covering his teammate.
Or perhaps using his teammate as bait almost.
Another one of his teammates, and he is now in fact the only person on his feet, and he's getting pushed very aggressively by Vixard, who clear that one up. Pretty ruthless stuff. So 8 kills for Vixard now. What a great start for these guys.
Yeah, 5 minutes into the match, and they've already got 8 kills. They've got 2 remaining players from Rogue, and then it's the Deathless 4 up on the hillside. Now, they don't have to leave here just yet. They are still well in zone, of course.
I think he's watched too many Michael Caine movies. No, honestly, it's bad news when you've got to explain to half the lobby what my references are. It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, and the guys squad number 7 trying to have a little peek, pushing down this slope, but taking some rounds for it.
Yeah, they're leaving this fight. They're not
I would imagine discretion being the better part of valor on that one. I really would.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at our friends from Rogue now. And look at this, Jamie. This does look like an aggressive push about to come in from B4V here.
Yeah, they are... yeah, so Vixard, they've got 2 on either side of the river. They know roughly where the players are. They've got Pika out the back there. They're crossing the water now. So all 4 players from Vixard are now on the same side of the river as Rogue. So yeah, this is coming in to be an aggressive push now.
Vixard deciding they're staking their claim here.
Oh, Tempura's actually gone up on the hillside as well.
Yes, I did notice that.
High level view. Now he's right behind one of the players from Deathless 4. Now, is he chasing them, or is he just I think he's actually trying to chase the Deathless 4.
And it looks like... Well, the rest of the team from Vixard are happy to take on the last 2 from Rogue and leave Tempura in his elevated position, gatekeeping a little bit on squad number 7.
So yeah, these guys really are under a lot of pressure now. Really being pushed by Vixard.
And that's Tempura on the high ground, getting some rounds towards these guys. So just letting them know that they've got players from all over the place. And what a great whack through the window there. And that is Rogue taken out. So Vixard clear up in Painan. 14 kills for this team now, coming under some fire from our friends up on top of the hill. And Vixard aren't done with this yet.
10 kills already. 7 minutes into the game, and they've already racked up 10 kills. They are outside zone now, so zone is now centred between Quarry and Lakawi Barn, that triangle area there. We've got the CRB team, team 25, I think that is. Yeah, they're centre zone. Everyone else is around the outside of the zone, having their own little battles everywhere at the moment.
So we're going to quickly jump up here. We're with our friend from REA, and looks like he's had 3 of his teammates taken out, and looks like a push is on its way in. Certainly looked that way.
Yeah, so where are we? Camp Bravo, aren't we? By the looks, yes. So we've got the team 6 there, trained to kill.
Don't you just love that when you're a lone player on your own inside a building, and all you can hear is 4 sets of footsteps outside you. It's just really quite, it's just not a nice sound. It's just not a nice sound.
No. And you can hear them all reloading. You know they're getting ready.
They're all reloading, and then you hear nade pins pop. Yeah, and then it's like, okay, get it over with.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. They've cleared up the rest of his team, but seem to just taking a moment of pause before potentially going in for the final push. We'll have a quick look at our map situation. We've got a bit of separation between the teams now. Looks like our friends from squad number 7, though, who were overlooking that fight in Painan. It looks like they've got a crate coming down on their location.
Yeah, so they rotated all the way out to the edge of Quarry, and 4 Angry Birds are now in between Vixard and them. So, and then looking at the CRB team coming in, they were the only ones that are over on the northwestern island. So they've just swum across just west of boot camp. So they'll be coming in as well. So we can have 4 Angry Birds, CRB and Vixard coming in together. That could be an interesting, aggressive fight.
And I'm just going to... So we've got Raw, our winners of game number 1. They're just over by Lakawi. Looks like the guys from Vixard now are starting to begin their rotation back into zone. Decided they've caused enough mayhem in Painan.
Yeah, it's going to shoot up another town. That poor, lucky the buildings are still standing.
I bet house prices there have really gone down. But here we are with 4 Angry Birds, our winners, quite spectacular winners of game number 2. Now, they've lost Falcon. They've lost a player, but they have racked up 4 kills.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see who they were fighting, but they have got, as we saw, Vixard to their south. They've got CRB to their north, and they've got the Deathless 4 to their east as well.
Yeah, that could certainly get a little bit tasty. Now, we're here with squad number 24, D1. Looks like they're certainly aware that... And here we go. Oh, just making the rock there. Kenichi not quite managing to get the thirst on.
And we've got our first, just so you know, we've got our first hard shift of the Sandhook map so far. We're going to be coming down south, so CRB still have their centre zone, but Paradise no longer in zone, Camp Bravo no longer in zone, and nor is the western edge of Quarry, where we got 4 Angry Birds, CRB and Vixard.
So we've got our friends from D1 here, getting into it, squad number 21. Our friend Kenichi here has been putting the hurt in, but these guys find themselves all outside of circle now. And yeah, as Jeremy was saying, there's our hard shift, so these guys have got to start making a decision to clear this fight or get their rotations on. We're in phase 3 of the game. 43 players left alive and 13 teams still contesting at this point. Quite a few of those died in Painan.
Yeah, Vixard have made it into the western edge. They managed to rotate around 4 Angry Birds, so they've managed to just make it in zone there. But yeah, these guys up at Paradise, they're going to have to either fight or leave because they've got 650 meters to go.
Absolutely,
they need to get their rotation on. They can't afford to just lay there waiting now.
They need to rotate or get into it and get the enemy squad cleared. And Kenichi doing more good work, but takes some rounds in return. He hadn't moved that location for quite a long time. The guys from F5 obviously aware of his position there. So some great work at the beginning part of this contact, but ultimately he's been knocked and he's a little bit separated from his team also.
Yeah, he's going to be sacrificed now as his team try and hold F5 up. That's all they can do now. They're going to try and make their way
There we go. So one of these teams is going back to the lobby. Silence there, doing some great work, establishing a knock on deep. We've got 2 more players from squad number 24 up. And another knock established by F5. And our friend Logan here, at this moment in time, is the only member of this team now on his feet. So it was a tough rotation for squad for F5 coming in. They were under some fire, but they played it ways. And, oh, not a good time to go looting, my friend. Oh dear me. Nearly
Logan, I
paid the
think
price
he's
for
about
that
to
one.
get a shot in the side of the head here. He's got the player rotating above him. No, he's heard the footsteps, I think.
Here we go. And our friend Logan taken out, so F5 do clear up that fight. They've got a lengthy rotation themselves, though, so they need to get hold of that loot quickly and start the move. Okay, we're going to jump quickly now with CRB. And they're not too far away from our friends, the Deathless Four, who we saw overlooking the fight in Pine Nan earlier.
Yeah, so this is actually, these guys have been holding, they're very good at holding centre zone so far, the CRB team, Team 25 here.
They've established 6 kills. They've still got all 4 players up, so they're covering their ground well. And, yep, so another look there through the trees. Establishes the knock with a burst on the M4. Beautiful, pushing forward now. He knows he's got a player behind this rock and looking to clear this one up. And punching a rock, why not?
Yeah, that's odd.
Very odd, actually, yeah. So, maybe, maybe his game just glitched for a second there, but that's some great work from our friends here from CRB. They've racked up 8 kills, all 4 members of their squad up and running. However, looks like they may well be getting into it with squad number 18, which is another CRB team.
Yeah, and we see these guys go at it in other scrims, in other weeks rather, and they are not shy about fighting each other.
No, I don't think you can accuse these guys of teaming. Oh my word! And
yeah, there is no quarter asked or given with these guys when they get involved.
So our friend Zhao here looking to get some nades in. 2 of his teammates have been taken out. Now some of the guys from squad number 18 have taken a bit of a pounding. And that was a beautiful nade there.
He's got a molly, and molly would be perfect in that situation.
So what are we facing here? We're facing a 2-on-2 by the look of it.
Yeah, they're...
And... they're taking some chunks out of each other. There's going to be... I bet their clan Discord's going to be fun.
Yeah. So zone has shifted. We are going further east. So we're going to be centre between Nakawi and Kampong. Very close to the coastline, actually. And it's Train to Kill, who've got a hard cover. But these guys are on the edge of zone.
Blue now pushing on these guys. So what are we going to do, boys and girls? Are we going to finish it, or we got to move? Zhao here, staying edge of the blue as it comes in, and I think he's made the decision to get out of there.
Yeah, he definitely has. He's left. He's got one teammate.
Potentially not. He's keeping an eye on he's keeping an eye on the back door here.
He has got a vehicle which could help him, so it's not quite so desperate.
Oh, a beautiful spray work there.
Oh, is he leaving the vehicle for his teammate or just not bothering? Only 100 metres to zone, and as long as he's got some boosts, he should be okay with that.
I think he knew there was another vehicle up here.
No, just looting the crates that are next to it.
They're not too far.
Have got themselves into zone. 17th Century have got a couple of knocked players down on the eastern side under a lot of pressure now. They've only got 1 remaining player. And
we're here with our winners of game number 3, 4 Angry Birds, and it looks like they're coming under a lot of pressure here. 2 dead, 1 knocked. Vixard, who we saw doing fantastic work in Painan earlier, but they've also got at least 3 knocked players. And who's not too far away? Ice.
Yep, Ice and 4 Angry Birds and Vixard. When we've seen that these teams are more than happy to fight it out, and they tend to get towards the latter stages of the games as well.
And Vixard have managed to get some meds on, but I think they're going to get pushed quite aggressively here by Ice. Yes, they do. Tempura has now been taken out. Pika is the only member of this team up, also getting pushed. So some great work from Ice there. And our Ice looking for a bit of revenge.
I think so. Now, I know one thing you love is a team not just being in zone, but controlling zone. Look at the spread from Raw in zone there.
This looks really great work from Raw. Now, the rest of these teams are having to make their way in. CRB struggling on the edge of blue. The 2 guys we saw clearing it up earlier. And look at this. Raw have got complete control over this zone.
They have
CRB
now.
getting one knocked. Our friends from Ice putting the hurt into teams coming late from the blue. And there's only one of the birds up, but making her presence known. But now coming in, my word, it's a one-player wrecking squad. But ultimately proved a bit too much. We're down to 8 players left alive now.
Yep, Ice are under a huge amount of pressure now. It's Raw who are really doing the damage as the other teams are trying to get into the zone. Raw have got a great position. I'm watching from Skyboy's point of view. He's up in one of the sniper towers. He's got an M4 with a 6x. Has been absolutely spraying into the team from Ice Cream as they make their rotation into zone.
Yeah, he's got a great location here in circle, controlling all of this ground in front of him. And the great work that Ice did earlier. They've come under a huge amount of pressure just trying to get into this zone that was very well controlled by Raw early phases of the game. And now these guys are really clearing up with the players who are trying to come in. And Ice coming under huge amounts of pressure from Skyboy here.
Wow. So now we've got a 3-on-1. Now Vanix from Raw has been knocked. They should be able to get the revive on because it's only Juicy from REA that's up in the northern side, completely on his own. And so we're going to have a 3-on-1 situation as soon as they can get to Vanix and get the revive.
We are indeed. So Juicy from REA, the last surviving member of his team. They picked up 3 kills. I think I saw it was at least 10 for squad number 12 Raw, our winners of game number 1. And you have to say, Jamie, great zone control in the later stages of play, as you called. And yeah, this is a big ask now for Juicy.
It certainly is. I mean, it's supposed to get 1 kill, 3 for the team in total. But as we've seen,
however,
Raw
that zone
got
just
13 kills.
That zone certainly did Juicy a little bit of a favour. So now the players from Raw having to push up. And they're not certain.
They're going 2-on-1 split. They're going either side of the zone.
Absolutely. The last thing they want to do is even risk getting a wipe out of a couple of players. So they're, again, controlling ground beautifully, taking a split. And here we go. I think Nemesis may well be the first one to come into contact here.
A little landmine there from Juicy.
And yeah, the boys and girls from Raw finishing that one up in excellent style there. So they take the win in game number 3. Already established a win earlier in the evening in game number 1. That's another win for the guys from Raw. They take first place with 14 kills. And yeah, Skyboy doing great work in that sniper tower. He picks up half of them. And in second place, REA. 3 kills for that team. And in third, Ice. They pick up third place with 5 kills. Now I know that we had some. I mean, look at the kill count: 11 from one of the teams from CRB there. 4 Angry Birds picked up a few. 8.
Vixard.
There's a number of players. Vixard picking up 10. So a lot of teams getting some high kills, but not quite managing to get in. I mean, Ice really came under it from that position that Skyboy was in as they went in for the rotation. Great zone control from Raw, and ultimately coming home with the win there. Jamie and I are going to take a quick break, and we'll be back shortly for a bit of post-game analysis, and we'll see you for game number 4. Bye for now. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. And yep, some exciting stuff there in game number 3. Very different feel as we expected with a game on Sarnock than we had in the first 2 games. And well, yeah, a very exciting start. 4, 5 teams all in around the Painan area initially. And yeah, our friends from Vixar, they're very strong early game, Jamie.
Yeah, what a start that was. Pineapple was absolutely crazy for about 5 minutes, I think it was, and they came out of there with 10 kills, I believe. They
Yeah, it was at least 10, yeah.
that was really good, and then go from there, and all the fights we saw in between. And for me, love to see it. The control of zone, the way Raw was split in the zone. They weren't all in one place. They were split. They were looking in different directions, and they were just stopping people getting anywhere near them.
Well, it was. I mean, they rotated into that part of circle quite early on, where a lot of teams were still coming across from the eastern part of the main island, and it, I think it sort of became apparent to them quite early. Once they'd rotated into circle, that they were pretty much alone there, which gave them the opportunity to dominate ground. Which is exactly what they did. They could hear the gunfights from the likes of Ice coming in. There was some clan on clan action with the guys from CRB.
Yeah,
But ultimately, this allowed the guys from Raw to position themselves absolutely beautiful in those final phases of play. And as you called out, I mean, Skyboy had a great position there. Ice, who played very, very well up to that point coming into circle, just got taken apart by Raw. I mean, Raw picked up, I think, I can't remember now, about 10, 12 kills, something like that. 14, I think it
so, yeah.
was. 14 kills,
Yeah.
I think they picked up in the end. And most of those must have been in the last 5 minutes of the game, Jamie.
Yeah, it was brilliant controlled. And when I was watching from Skyboy's point of view, I would love to see what his damage stats were, because even if he didn't get credited with the kills, he was putting in so much damage to, especially to Ice, but to the other. There was another team there before them as well, and he was knocking there and getting the revives. He was just doing so much damage that they were under so much pressure that when the rest of his team went over and pushed, and we saw one of the team get knocked actually and had to be revived. But the reason he was able to go over there as a solo is because of the work that Skyboy put in from that sniper tower.
Yeah, yeah, it was just great zone control. It was going to be virtually very, I mean, not impossible, but hugely difficult rotating under pressure with the blue at your back. Coming into a well prepared position like that, I mean, basically set a perfect ambush. And from that kind of position, I mean, Raw doing the business there and bringing home their second win of the evening. A very dominant performance indeed, and great positional play. Okay, so we're not too far away now from our final match of the evening. We're going to be back on Erringle. Seems to be a bit of a theme that we no longer get Vikendi games, which I think is a bit of a shame, actually. But we've got our second match on Erringle, and our final match of the evening. And yeah, Raw being very dominant this evening, Jamie, but the guys from Ice also putting in great performances. Vixard, 4 Angry Birds. We also had some great action from the Deathless 4. Senior Esports doing a great work in early game. In game number 1, but haven't really been hugely active since. But yeah, it's nice to have situations where you've got a number of teams within the lobby who are all capable of contesting these games coming into the final phases, Jamie.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's strange because each game has seen a dominant win. So the teams that have won have been getting 10 plus kills, been getting 12, 14, 16 kills. But what we haven't seen so far is one dominant team through the whole night, which is really good. So it's a good, even field. But each game, someone sort of rises to the top, as it were.
Yeah,
But we haven't seen one team just absolutely slay everyone else.
And I mean, from games 1 through 3, actually, it is tending to be the teams who have kept themselves together, getting good location into the final circles of play, and and ultimately, going into those final places of play from good position with healthy gear. and being able to dominate zone. I mean, it's always going to prove telling, and we've seen that pretty much in every zone we've had this evening. And I'd have to say that it's just a very effective style of play that's very difficult to play against when you're having to rotate into that zone. The poor boys and girls from ICE felt that one coming in at game 3 there. I'm sure we'll get more of the same in game number 4. I don't think we're too far off now. And we'll see if we get more excitement on Erringle. But some fantastic action this evening so far.
Oh, definitely. We've seen a lot of really good gunfighting. We've seen control zone. We've seen some good rotations with, some very good early stage game. I mean, look at Vixard and Painan.
Yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts.
Really good. 4 teams dropping in Painan and a 5th coming in from the hillside as well.
Yeah, that was a very exciting start to that game. Pretty exciting game throughout. Actually, I think we just went from gunfight to gunfight, didn't we?
Pretty much, yeah.
Which is what we like to see here at Vimes Central, because I don't believe what my mother told me. I think violence is the answer. So yeah,
especially if someone's screaming.
Especially when it comes to some good action in PUBG scrims. Okay, so we're about 30 seconds from playing. You are all behaving like a bunch of hooligans again, which is nice to see.
Yeah. So who's complaining?
He's complaining. Yeah, I used to like the build. I used to like the build up in the lobby. It was nice and peaceful before you got on the plane. I mean, I don't know. I'm just getting old, I think. Right, we're on our plane for our final game of the evening, and let's check out our flight line. Jamie, Millbase going to be in contention again. Novo Crates in contention again. A bit more subtly than it was last time, but actually pretty similar direction. As it was
but
last
that's a
time.
very southern flight line. I mean, we saw a lot of teams going. We had, 4 teams up in Yasnaya, a couple of teams up in Rozhok. They're the ones that are going to have to find vehicles very quickly if they're going to try and get to those locations.
We've got quite a few early jumpers. Our winners of games 1 and 3, Raw, they're already out of the plane. We've got, looks like, a couple of teams heading over to Novo Crates. At least one team heading deep into Millbase.
Yeah, so last time we saw one team over at Novo Crates. We saw 2 teams in Millbase itself. We did see a bit of almost like a sort of phony war over in Milta with a couple of teams.
Looks like
it was really
Raw are actually going.
Georgia Pole.
Yeah, looks like Raw are actually going for the longer drop, heading towards the Milta area, so overflying the water.
Yeah, so it wouldn't surprise me if we get a bit of action around maybe Pachinki Farm and the Georgia Pole area around Hospital, because we do have teams. We usually get about 4 teams in the general Georgia Pole area, north, south, Crates and Hospital. So I'm having to restart I've had a lot of problems getting into the lobbies on my device this evening, so I'm having to restart. It was hung up on the loading screen again.
Okay, so we've got players down, just beginning their loot, and looks like we've already got a little bit of gunfire.
There we go.
Who's taking the lumps out of each other now?
So that's Deathless 4, isn't it? And we've got Team 22 rotating past.
Yeah, Deathless 4 putting some rounds into our friends from Revenge.
Yeah, and I've managed to load back into the game, and phase 1 is broken, and the circle is sort of southwest of Pachinki, between Pachinki Gakna Quarry, in that open area. So we're going to have a southwestern finish somewhere on this map.
All right, well, let's jump up to the north, because we're here with F5. They've got a player knocked. But F5 is certainly coming under some pressure, and it looks like they're coming under pressure from our friends from ICE.
Yeah, so good initial pressure by the looks of it. They're making sure they get a bit looted as well. I don't know if maybe they're slightly separated and so they can't go with a... Yeah, so we have got 3-4 teams in this area, so they can't really risk going out in the open too much.
No,
until they get a couple of knocks
look like they're almost trying to cover 2 squads here.
So Ice, we've got what is it? I'm trying to see who that is now. Oh, DS Australis. We haven't really covered them that much. Team 8 with F5 and Ice, and then to the west we've got KK as well. 4 Angry Birds have gone to the North Georgia Pole Apartments, as we've seen them do before.
Ice coming under some pressure now, and Tang Juan here certainly taking a few rounds. Looks like Ice have got at least 1 knocked. A couple low in health. Our friend here on the roof doing his best to get the res onto his teammate.
Under a bit of pressure, they need to get some meds in. Oh, and then
another knock established and push coming up the stairs. Great work through the door there. So F5 not having it all their own way.
Certainly not. Great work down the stairs to try and get the surprise.
And oh, it was a great idea out the stairs and back up, but ultimately taken out. But then that player is also in turn taken out. So it looks like Ice do manage to get the squad wipe, but it's an expensive one. It's cost them 2 of their team.
Yeah, that was very expensive. Unlucky to get the player thirsted there. That was, yeah, they've done some really good work to take the players down. Try and take them by surprise going out the window and back up the stairs. Didn't quite work out for him though. But we've now got Team 8 there, the DS Australis, trying to come up and take advantage of some wounded players.
Well, they've come in as a 3, Jammy, so it's not quite as one-sided as it may at first appear. They certainly don't look to be potentially wanting to... that bird is flying above that wall, giving away your position, pal. And I don't think the enemy team can see your companion, can they? They don't seem to be necessary, even though they've got the slight advantage in numbers here. They are separated somewhat and don't really seem too keen to push aggressively on Ice here.
No, they've been a little bit passive now. I can understand why. They've seen who it is that's in there. And they are only as a 3. Now, they also have the KK team to the west slightly. So they've got a teammate on the roof, I think, just trying to give some information to them as to where they are. But
yeah, there's our friend. Is that Tian? There with the DP doing the spotting work from the roof, dressed like a canary. Nice. That's not really an outfit to blend in at a party, is it? That's yeah.
No, I don't think that was day 1 of camouflage school, was it?
No, it really wasn't. No. Right. Okay, we're going to quickly jump towards Rojok. Looks like we've got a couple of teams pretty close to each other here.
Oh, is that Team 22? So Revenge and Simply Business, Team 20.
Simply Business establishing their position the southern part of the town here. Taking some rounds from the guys from RG.
They are, yeah. RG have actually got a nice little split. They've got 2 to the east and they've got 2 up on the hill. But the 2 up on the hill have got one of the SB players with them, I think, by the looks of it.
And one of the SB players somewhat isolated here and coming under pressure.
Yeah, I like the position the RG team have taken. So they've got 2 to the east. They've got 1 in the building here, or near the building. And they've got 1 up on Rosok Hill with the high ground as well.
So who's this? Melodian here?
Yeah. Trying to get a different angle.
Potentially, I think he knows his opponent's on the roof, so I think he's trying to get some high ground.
He is. The opponent is not just on the roof, though. He's been up and down those stairs, on the roof, back in the building. Careful there with that off angle. Yeah, I think he's realised where he is now.
So, actually reasonably quiet start, Jamie.
It is. After that sort of first engagement up at Georgia Pole, we've got a fairly quiet start. It's a fairly benign zone because it includes a lot of the milli base, and there's only a couple of teams outside zone because it was such a southern flight line.
Here we are with our friends from CRB, who we saw getting into it with their clan mates earlier.
This is Deathless 4 now.
Deathless 4, covered them a few times this evening. And, yeah, everything's going in. And Deathless, both teams are taking chunks out of each other. At this moment in time, we've only got one. Yeah, I think one of the guys from Deathless 4 has managed to get a teammate on his feet. One is still knocked. One is dead. So coming under increasing pressure from multiple angles here, but doing a great job trying to hold them off so far.
Yep.
Whacking in some quick meds.
Oh, it's getting a bit close. Yeah, just managed to get the first aid in.
And the rest of the team trying to draw him out by putting some more rounds into his teammate. But ultimately the two guns proving too much there. Great fight. But ultimately the guys from CRB coming away from that one. They did lose a teammate, but they clear up 4 kills. And they'll go through the rest of the game now as a 3.
Yeah, Yang was there to draw them out, and then Zhao was hiding behind the tree, just ready on that off angle. As soon as the player came around the corner, that was it, taken out.
Okay, we're here now with squad number 16. That's Zone Brothers, again, another team that we've covered a few times this evening. Not too far away from D1 as well.
No.
That's, was that Prodigy? Yep.
Risky standing in the window that long.
So our friend here looking to push up a little closer.
So D1, they are trying to see where their teammates are. So the teammates are actually over at the Western Millie Base Bridge.
Yeah, they've come across as a duo. However, these two fellas from D1 putting some damage in.
They are. Do you know what? I thought I heard a drone or something. That's the new motor glider.
I didn't know if they were going to include. I didn't know if they were going to include that in Scrims. Actually, yeah, I don't even know if it's an option you can turn off. To be honest,
I don't know. Actually, I have flown one on Miramar, and it's pretty useful for the distances of Miramar. Hard to fly, and they're not exactly robust. They don't take a lot to blow them up, as I found out to my great cost.
Oh, had a beautiful nade there, but not quite doing the damage. So, was this long EE from D1 and gets hit from the flank. And who's that by? That's
Samurai.
That's Samurai.
From, yeah.
So, great flanking position there from Zone Brothers.
That was a brilliant move from Samurai. Managed to get round on the off angle for the flank.
Oh,
our teammates coming in the vehicle.
Teammates coming in. So what are we going to do here, guys? We're going to try and finish this fight off. Or we're going to use the vehicle to get out. And it may well be the latter, Jamie.
I think so. Yeah. It's
or a repositioning to re-engage. Now, the new Samurai was somewhat isolated, so they decided to go for a hard push on him. And yeah, that was great work actually. Initially thought they were really potentially coming out of this fight, but no.
So their knocked player, Longy, is taken out in the end. They were trying to provide support so that the ZB team couldn't get to him, but they managed to get to him and get the confirm. But yeah, this was important, getting the off angle covered.
So yeah, it looked like Zone Brothers initially looked to be in control of that fight, but the guys from D1 coming straight into it again with a great rotation to take out Samurai there.
was a bit risky, putting some shots into his own vehicle then.
And, yeah, that was some great work from D1 there. It came under some pressure, but handled it well. Lost a teammate along the way, but that's 8 kills established for this team. Well played indeed, my friends. Okay, Jammy, there's our next circle, and we're over to the western side.
Yeah, as always, CRB up there in centre zone now. They've been joined by, I think that's a KK team. But yeah, as always, CRB, one of the first to get to centre zone.
And yes, you're correct, it is KK, and looks like these guys very much want to establish ownership of this position. So CRB a 3 at this moment in time, as are KK by the look of it. But well, looks like we've got another team with a slight overlook here, Jamie.
Yeah, so Raw are coming in from the south.
Ooh, that's just not what you want to see, is it? Who's coming behind us? It's Raw. Oh, great. Thanks for that. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Why don't you just pour lemon in my eyes?
It was B4V just north in the Gatka area. Listen, CRB, are they just repositioning?
I think just a slight.
Yeah. Yang's just heading out north, just to try and reposition. Yeah, he's heading out north to another compound, slightly more centre zone, slightly north of this fight.
And our friends from KK here, looking to respond to the new zone of fire, although they're now coming under it. Julie T going through there, doing some great work, but ultimately getting taken out through the window. And that's the guys from KK who are going to be walking away from that one. Now here we are with our friends from Raw, who what's wrong with you fellas? What's wrong with you fellas?
I did notice that he had a pistol in his hand. I mean, that is confident.
That's confident, mate. That is confident from that range. But you know they've won 2 games this evening, so I mean I wouldn't put it past them. Bunch of lunatics.
Well, that is true. Just taking out the tires or trying to blow the UAZ by the looks of it, just to spoil someone else's day for the sake of it.
So they've got a crate coming down not too far from them. They'll suppress Mini 14. Very nice. I do like the skin on the AK there. I like that one.
That does look good, doesn't it?
So we are going to be on the main island. We're still only in phase 2 of the game, but it's been quite a destructive initial couple of phases of play. We're down to 40 players left alive, 12 teams. Our winners of game 1 and 3, establishing themselves a position in centre zone with high ground. Yeah, we know, well, we've seen how effective these guys can be if they establish good defensible positions, so it'd be interesting to see how their game pans out.
Yeah, absolutely will, because we've got, what are we now? We're phase 2 of the game still, so I think where the next zone goes could actually...
It's going to be vital, I think. Normally that's when we start to see a hard shift, isn't it? Phases 3 and 4.
Yeah, so where teams are now, they're gambling. You can see a lot of them are down in this sort of southeastern part of zone. We don't have many up in the west and northwest up there. So it'd be interesting to see if it shifts up there or whether it's going to be in one of the more populated areas.
And I'm just going to jump up to the birds here, and they've taken a strategic position on top of Everest. Is it Everest they've taken? Yep.
Yes.
They have indeed. So, and the zone's favouring them at the moment. So, they've had a quiet start for them. But it'd be interesting to see if this position comes good for them. Now, they do have one of the guys from DS rotating well to the north of circle. But at the moment, we've got a bit of separation between the teams, Jammy. People looking to consolidate good positions. But to a certain extent, they've got the space. The first 2 phases of play took out half the lobby.
Yeah, we'll just get ready for the next zone to break, and then you'll see another Mad Max style race.
Here we go.
Well,
so
having said that, we've got a lot of teams already in zone.
We've got a lot of teams who've established themselves. That's broken very well for Raw, who are establishing a strong presence there. It hasn't worked out for our friends 4 Angry Birds, who now have to move. But, yeah, decision made quickly. These guys already starting to come into the northern part of this circle.
I wonder if it's going to be the teams that are out of zone now are going to go in for a full push right into centre zone where that compound is.
It's an interesting because there is
zone.
You would think that's prime real estate, that compound centre zone, yeah. So we've got Senior Esports there, who we did cover in game number 1. They're rotating and just a little bit in front of our friends 4 Angry Birds. So they've got to look at each other now. Let's have a bit of death race.
Oh, copyright.
Death Race 2000 was a computer game when I was a kid, dude. You can't. No. You can't.
No. So look, this straight past one of this SIR Senior Esports players. They've left him alone. They've gone straight past him. They haven't noticed he's up there.
And 4 Angry Birds getting into it with Senior Esports. So Hector down.
He's on his own. The rest of his team are in the compound, slightly away from that location.
So 4 Angry Birds taking a strong position in that trenched area there. Not getting it the roll way, but however, Little B has now been knocked. So the birds are still angry.
Nade into that close location could do a lot of damage, but no, doesn't quite connect on that occasion.
And RG not too far away from this one. I think they're putting some fire into that vehicle. And we've also got difficult to judge, but B4V ain't too far away. Another nade going into the trench.
No, just to the east of here, we've got the 2 guys left over from DS, and they're there with Simply Business up on the northeastern side. But this at the moment, yeah, we've got B4V to one side, the RG team to the other, over on the east. Then we've got Senior Esports and 4 Angry Birds here in this northern part of zone.
And that's our friends from squad number 10 there. They look to have taken up a position in the squad house there. It's B4V, isn't it, Jamie?
It is. So we've got B4V to the west, then we've got RG Revenge over to the eastern side, yeah. I'd love to see the 4 Angry Birds, see where they're split along that trench. They've got 2 to the north, 1 in the middle, and 1 to the south.
And looks like we've now got CRB also not too far away from this one now. So, yep, doing a good job protecting their vehicles, taking this strong position.
Hiding it in the underground gully there. Good work.
So, we're here with squad number 25, CRB. Covered them a few times this evening. So, they've established themselves a good position in this compound. 4 Angry Birds done the same with the trench. B4V also established a position in a good compound.
So we've seen, a few sort of skirmishes. What we haven't seen is a big sort of compound crash. Real aggressive play in these stages. So teams are trying to get to the late stages at the moment. They've had their initial skirmishes, and I think they're just trying to plan their route, trying to get into the sort of phase 6.
And there is our next zone shift, Jerry. So that's a lot of teams out to the east who've now got to rotate, and that's worked out great for 4 Angry Birds if they can keep that position. That compound that was set as zone still unoccupied.
Yeah, that's it's quite surprising. There's a whole compound going begging there, and I think maybe the Rogue team and T2K are coming in to that compound.
So our friends from B4V here, quite happy with the position they've established. And these three teams, Jamie, they've established themselves in their squad houses. They've got cover. They're happy to keep this a long-term engagement for the time being.
Yeah, no one's going in for that massive compound crash just yet. Like you say, they've established a foothold in a good position, and they're happy to keep that and keep it at a medium-range engagement at the moment.
Right, we're here with Senior Esports. Now, one of their players has been knocked. And they're keeping this position right at edge of circle here, but absolutely making sure not going to get pushed from the blue. Good play.
They are, but look, we've got T2K, Team 6, which is Train to Kill, they are rotating in. They were on the eastern
Yep.
side. They're actually coming in now in convoy, and they've been rotating all the way around zone. And I think they might actually be heading into this area.
Yep, they're rotating edge of circle.
They were down at the southeast because I said they were going into the same compound as Rome. Well, they decided to avoid.
Here we go. They're crashing straight into our friend from Senior Esports here. And is that he's doing a great job, but he has been taken down because that was a full squad push. So only one of the players from Senior Esports on his feet now. That's Little B. Managed to find a little bit of cover in this trench.
Little B, we saw last week, was doing the great work with the tap fire in that mini, wasn't he?
Yes.
Teams on the Erangel match.
Yes, he was. He was tapping the hell out of that thing, firing that fast as my firing M4, the kid. But yep, so he's the only member of his team now up. And I think he's got his Mini 14 there, hasn't he? But he's up against it here. That was a very good push coming in from squad number 6, Train to Kill.
Yeah, really interesting there, because Train to Kill were on the opposite side of zone, but they noticed that Rogue had actually taken the compound that they were heading for, and so they called off their rotation, their direct into zone, and went all the way from the southeast, all the way around the north, all the way into this northwestern side. So really, really good rotation from them.
Okay, so we're coming down to the final stages of the game. That's our situation on the map, so not too long till our next circle breaks. That's a hard shift, and that has worked out again very, very well for B4V, who got that great position in the trench there.
They have, so B4V, 4 Angry Birds, CRB.
4 Angry Birds who had the trench, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, so no, all 3 of those teams though have got great positions at the moment. 4 Angry Birds, yes, as you say, in the trench with the vehicles. They've got a drop landing pretty much on their head.
CRB just on the outskirts.
Also a target.
But yes, I mean these 3 teams established their compounds, established their positions, and zone has been it's been very good to them, hasn't it, so far? But really as the real estate gets smaller and smaller, expect a lot of pressure to come in. We've got the two surviving players from D1 now attempting to 3 players, sorry, attempting to rotate in. KK coming under some pressure, establishing a small presence there in the squad house. And absolutely everybody's now is starting to feel the pressure. We're in phase 5 of the game. 33 players left alive, but 11 teams still contesting this one. That's one of the birds knocked, I think.
Yeah, and we've got the team from Raw as well. They've had 1 player taken out. They've got 1 knocked. They're in the eastern trench at the moment. Skyboy's trying to make his way in, but they're getting involved with the 2 players from DS as well.
And this is very interesting from RG now. They're establishing a position at the end of this trench.
Well, that's risky out in the open there from Melodian. You can just see just the sheer number of players with the tags there, just how congested this southern area is. We've got RG and 4 Angry Birds in this eastern trench, and then we've got the absolute carnage going on all over the place, I think. So RG being taken down by the 4 Angry Birds at the moment in that eastern trench.
And we've also got CRB, I think, not too far away from that one. But 4 Angry Birds at this moment in time, I mean, they've racked up 4 kills. They've managed to keep themselves up as a 4. It is a difficult location to hold this one, though, with this many players still around them. It's a long area to defend.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. And with this many teams, still 10 teams remaining, 27 players are still remaining. We're phase 5 of the game. It is getting so congested in this area. And they're going to have to move because zone has shifted west. It's headed out towards B4V and this western gully.
And absolutely everybody's just taking lumps out of each other. We're down to 27 players left alive, 23 players left alive, 9 teams. This is clearing house now. A lot of these teams finding themselves outside of our next circle. We have phase 5 of the game. 4 Angry Birds managing to stay complete as a 4. CRB under some pressure now. And guys from B4V, they managed to rack up 3 kills. They've got a nice position at edge of zone here, Jamie, and they're still up as a 4.
They have. They've got a great position. They've got hard cover, edge of zone. There's no one else behind them. All of their enemies are in front of them. You combine that. You compare that with, say, Simply Business Team 20. They're out of zone. They've got a team right next to them, D1. They've got a team to their north, CRB. They're going to have to try and clear a team and get into zone as well. So you compare the two situations. B4V are in a great position.
B4V in a good position. Our guys from D1 getting into it, but these guys are out of circle, so they're fighting for every inch to try and get in. As two of and there's players being knocked. Look at that, get knocked, instantly taken out himself. Now that is Deep here, who ultimately came out of that one, but he's under some pressure from the blue pushing at him, and the rest of his team are down.
Yeah, and just a little team called CRB waiting for him at the edge of zone. Oh, ouch.
Yep, now
Good
off to
choice.
the fence.
Good choice.
But 4 Angry Birds still maintaining this strong position at the edge of circle. There's our next circle shift, and the Birds will have to move now, as will our friends from KK here.
Yeah, even B4V are going to have to shift, but they've only got 16 or so meters to go. They're literally in front of the buildings. Is going to be the edge of zone. Now, there is a slight rise in the ground. They've got a little bit of cover, but nothing really good. So as long as they time it right, use some smokes, they're in a really good position here.
So this is 4 Angry Birds controlling this area of trench. They're putting the hurt onto T2K. And you have to say B4V also looking very strong at this point.
Yeah, Papa G from B4V, he's up on one of the roofs. They're just laying some smoke out now, just preparing for their move into zone. But he's up on top of the roof, and he's got his AWM as well.
Now he's got a great overview here. I think he's very slightly out of circle at this moment in time, though.
Yeah,
so
18 meters. So he's doing the good work covering his teammates, though.
4 Angry Birds continuing to put the hurt. Now they've started to push on CRB. And some ruthless work there. So 4 Angry Birds coming through that 7 kills now, managing to stay up as a 4. Now B4V also in a strong position. We've got the 2 players from T2K also now coming in. 10 players left alive. It's these 3 teams that will decide the fate of game number 4, and we're in for an exciting finish, Jamie.
We are. B4V have moved away from their hard cover now. They've established a position in zone as well. Now they're coming in. Knights coming in to support with the vehicle as well.
Coming under a lot of fire, but that's some knocks established now on the B4V guys. That's 2 knocks. So the push coming in from B4V proving to be very, very effective. Tio there doing Tio doing a great job there. Unfortunately caught trying to throw a nade. Oh, and what a nade.
Wow. Well, we saw Papa G there, had the M4 and the AWM, but apparently absolute demon with a nade as well.
So 4 Angry Birds trying to get their teammates up, trying to establish a strong presence. We're down to 7 players left alive. 3 teams.
They've got to get these revives in. They've got 20 seconds. They've got 40 meters to go. They're on the edge of zone. They're going to have to push in, but they've got to go through B4V to get there.
Yep. B4V down to a 2 now. We've also got a 2 from T2K. And in come the nades, in come the throwables. This is going to be a very tight... This is a hugely difficult one to call at this moment in time.
Yeah, I can't call this. I mean, 4 Angry Birds have got the numbers, but also they're out of zone.
So we're here with Papa G, who's doing a great work earlier. 4 Angry Birds now coming in, but taking some knocks.
Top Boy and Papa G doing some great work there.
But Papa G also now coming under some pressure. So T2K, who I must admit I wasn't necessarily thinking would get this far, have actually still managed to stay in, but we're down to a 2-on-1 gunfight. 15 from 4 Angry Birds. My word, really?
Yeah, speculative fire from the Scar there. Absolutely brilliant. Just speculatively firing. He knew roughly where the player was, and he obviously saw the hit markers and just concentrated his fire on that point.
And, well, what a performance from 4 Angry Birds at the end there. A dominant performance, actually, throughout the game. It was one of the things we commented on in the middle of, after game 3, controlling zone, controlling your ground, staying together as a 4, which they mostly did until the end there, and an incredibly dominant performance from 4 Angry Birds. But you've got to give a shout out to the guys from T2K and B4V there, making that a very, very good fight. CRB and Raw also involved at the end there. But ultimately, the Angry Birds take the win in game number 4 with, 12 kills?
Yeah, really good. 8 for 15.
8
what
for 15.
Performance.
Fantastic stuff. And second place, T2K. They take second place with 6 kills. And in third place, B4V with 5 kills. I don't think we're going to get much more than 8. Oh, well, Deep from D1 actually did very well with 7.
That's great individual work there. In fact, look, the whole team.
Yeah, Deep actually.
12,
They were one of those teams that were around a lot, weren't they? And I mean, look, yeah, fantastic kill count for those guys. But ultimately, the strength of 4 Angry Birds and the great positional play there proving decisive in game number 4. We're going to take a very, very short break, boys and girls, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Bye for now. Okay, boys and girls, welcome back. And what a conclusion to a fantastic night of scrims there, Jamie. We'll just talk a little bit about our final game before we go into our thoughts overall. Pretty edgy stuff, I think, early on. We had a few gunfights, but very, very tactical positional play going on. CRB, B4V, and 4 Angry Birds staking the claim out very, very early mid-game. Now, they were certainly helped by the zone coming to them in that position, but those teams dominating in that sort of middle game. 4 Angry Birds and especially B4V really going into it. But then the guys from T2K and D1 who were about Raw, also about CRB, about we had a lot of players coming into what was a very, very exciting conclusion to game number 4 there, Jamie.
It certainly was. Now, at the end, yeah, it was strange because we had a lot of small compounds in the late stages, which meant that teams were happy to sort of stay where they were, see where the zone was going. They could defend the compound. They didn't need to go out into open zone that much. We had a few teams that did and had to, of course. But for me, I mean, what I really enjoyed, and it was the T2K guys. They were down in the southeast and they were heading towards a compound, and they recognised that the rogue team, slightly ahead of them, managed to get that compound first. And instead of just risking it and compound crashing, they changed their minds and they rotated all the way around the blue, all the way around the outskirts of the zone, the edge of the blue, and they came in from the northern side, and we saw that crash onto the ice cream team.
Very, 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 very good rotation there. But it was almost a theme of the evening, Jamie, wasn't it? Staying together as a team, dominating position, controlling ground. I mean, actually, yeah, we've only had the two different teams winning events this evening. Raw taking 2 wins and Four Angry Birds taking 2 wins.
Yeah,
That's going to be
and
very interesting to see how that comes down on the results table. Actually,
it certainly will. And now what we've seen is, and I mentioned it after game
I
three,
think the Birds
was
should
that
probably edge it, shouldn't they? Because in one of the games they came second as well.
yes, I think yes they did.
Raw won game one,
Um,
but the Four Angry Birds were second place, I believe. And then,
but what we've also seen is every team that's won has won with a high kill count.
yeah, yeah.
So the points are going to be high.
It's gonna. Yes, it is. I think. I mean, obviously, wait for the official results to come out. That will be handled by our fantastic boys and girls over at TipTop Esports. It's going to be close. But I mean, even in the games that they didn't win, Raw were contesting. I think they came fifth in that game. So yeah, the Birds and Raw, even in games where they weren't winning, and they both won 2 games apiece with very good kill counts, especially for Raw in their second win on Sarnock. Yeah, it's going to be a tight one, isn't it? It's going to be a very tight one.
It really is. It's yeah. I don't know when the results come out actually.
TipTop normally pretty quick at getting the results out, but obviously they will post that on their Discord server. But yeah, I'll be quite interested. I'm gonna. I don't know. I really don't know, Jamie. I've got a slight feeling that 400 Birds might edge it.
Yeah, it's
Purely
it's a
simply
hard
because
one to call actually. I mean,
of the second place in game one.
yeah, which is fair. And
Yeah, I think if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I do apologise to the boys and girls at Raw. But I haven't got figures in front of me. That's not an official prediction. I'm making that very, very clear. But yeah, but yes, that's going to be very tight. Be very interesting to see what the final scores on the doors were, and we probably got some very interesting contenders for top fragger as well, because there were a lot of individual high kill games there, Jamie.
there were. We've seen players, 5, 6, 7, 8 kills individually, often in a high kill team, but some really good individual work as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I must admit, I'm looking forward to seeing the final results. I really am. But either way, look. I mean, guys, there've just been some fantastic performances tonight. Raw and Four Angry Birds, obviously, but also CLB, D1, T2K, Senior Esports, doing a great job in game one. So team number 7 contested quite a lot, as I recall. The Deathless Four were doing great stuff.
Yep.
Rogue also doing some good stuff. Zone Brothers, we featured quite a lot. 17th Century Esports. Yeah, I mean, we really did B4V. I mean, yeah, they were playing great, weren't they? Vixard clearing up Painan was just incredible, frankly.
Vixard and Painan coming out of Painan with 10 kills. That was
That's
really impressive.
yeah. I mean, we've just had some outstanding play this evening. Yeah, it's a very very tough one to call. I think for me, rather than sort of isolate a single player, I mean, obviously Skyboy in game 3, fantastic performance from that position he had. Really, really great. But actually, I must admit the highlight for me this evening is not necessarily been one particular moment. It's literally been this great zone control from dominant teams coming into later phases of play.
Well, I was going to say, because, yeah, I mean, from an individual player point of view, I really enjoyed watching that Skyboy web from the sniper tower, controlling the zone and making sure that Ice Cream just had such a bad time of it trying to get into zone.
Yeah.
Doing
Ice,
some really,
again,
really
they played
good work.
very well all evening. All evening.
Oh, they certainly did, yeah. And so, yeah, it was that. And then when we looked at the mini map and saw the positioning from Raw on that Sanhok match,
yeah,
and they were spread and they had every angle covered. That was brilliant, and that's what I love to see.
Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. Not quite as dominant. They did have teams closer to them, but the Birds, I mean, the Birds in that trench, wow, talk about control ground. And they came under threat. I mean, there were a lot of teams who wanted that location and they weren't giving it up. Their great push on the Miramar game, also a fantastic highlight of the evening. And it's what we've come to expect, people contesting TipTop EU Open Scrims for TipTop Esports. Lobby 8, yeah, man, you know, there aren't any bad teams or players here. There just aren't, which is why it's such a pleasure to stream these. These you boys and girls really are the business. I do have to thank our friends at TipTop Esports once again for putting together, as always, a fantastically well organised and run event. Thank you all for playing. Thank you all for watching, and those who commented in the stream. Really do appreciate it. Thank you. I suppose I better thank my co-caster and inimitable ally, Jamster, Jammy Gaming. Thank you very much indeed, my friend. That was a lot of fun as usual.
No, pleasure as always. Yeah, love casting these.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to be insulted by anyone, I would rather it was you.
Well, that's nice, mate. I mean, it's not as if I give you a choice, though, dude. Right? It's just it's just how I roll. You know, what can I say? I wasn't hugged enough as a child. That's what it was. Okay, boys and girls, thank you very much for a very enjoyable evening. Jamie and I will no doubt be back next week, streaming some more TipTop EU Open Scrims, and basically having the privilege to watch some very, very exciting gameplay. Thank you all for supporting the event. Thank you all for supporting the stream. Remains for me, Vimes177 Gaming and Jammy Gaming, to say good hunting and bye for now.